Good evening and welcome to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission meeting for Monday, June 27th, 2022. Time is now 7:06. First item on the agenda, orders to be signed, 80 Locust Street, meeting minutes. We are going to table those till maybe the end. The letter that was sent to Douglas Properties LLC, there was no response. So I may ask their engineer if they attend the meeting tonight. Request for a certificate of compliance, 121 Webster Street. There's been no as-built submitted. Is anyone here on that item or online?
Where did that one come from? Sure.
121 Webster. Anyone here for 121 Webster?
That's number 4, Mike.
Seeing none. So we're waiting on the as-built for that. Number 5, request for certificate of compliance, 117 Perry Street. We have all of the paperwork in as well as a video. Steve, would you like to pull that up? Is anyone here presenting for 117 Perry?
Can you see the video?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
It's Dan Heaney.
Yep.
So wetlands are in the back of the yard.
Please mute your microphone if you are on your phone. Can you pop that? Thank you. Thank you. Looks like everything's stabilized.
Yeah, it does.
Is there an as-built plan, Steve?
Yeah, let me, want me to bring that in, or I can bring it up on the screen after? I just realized I didn't give you a copy of it.
This one was from a while back, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. 09160. Yeah, it's about 100
Let me bring the plan up.
plans.
Here's the plan here. I don't know if you can see that. The wetlands are in the back here.
Can you enlarge it, Steve? Thank you.
Let me drop the as-built plans off. 1 second.
Thank you. The wetlands are back here.
Can't tell any distances when that thing is there.
You're right. You want to scoot over, Eric? Sorry.
One of those is a house and one's a garage. Is that what we're looking at?
This is the existing foundation. Existing, yeah. Concerns with the wetlands. 2018. It was originally, Margaret drew up the septic design. I don't know when it got built. But it does look stable.
Doesn't look like much discrepancy between the proposed plan and the as-built to me.
Tracy, do you want to see this?
No.
I think it looks pretty.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 117 Perry Street.
So moved.
Motion made by Art,
Second?
second by Mike. All those in favor, roll call.
Art Montmany, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Monjam, aye.
Thank you. Okay. Request for a certificate of compliance, 76 Oak Street. Is there anyone here presenting on behalf of this agenda item?
Yeah, 76 Oak,
Yes.
right here.
Okay. Name and address?
Pardon?
Name and address?
It's William Stark, 76 Oak Street.
Okay. Do you have the septic as-built in your hand?
This?
Septic as-built.
This is the plan of the septic.
That was the proposed approved plan to
No, yeah,
be
this is-
installed?
This system's already in. It was put in 14 years ago.
Okay.
I've already paid for all of this to happen.
Okay.
And somebody dropped the ball. What we figure is Andrews dropped the ball. And the compliance was never done, or maybe it was, who knows? It was 14 years ago, but I just paid for another Title V up
Okay.
at that, and it proves that the whole system is exactly where it should be.
Okay.
Give you a copy of that.
Okay, great. Is that going to be a copy for the board?
Yeah, I got a
Okay.
couple more copies if you want them.
No, I think that's fine. You didn't give this to Steve yet, though, right? You hadn't submitted this to Steve?
I think they did it over the weekend when I was out there. So I got a video of the site, if you want to see it. Everything looked according to what the plan was and what I remembered them doing
Okay.
14 years ago.
Okay, so there was just a small area within the 100-foot buffer.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of pump chambers, and then they pumped it up the driveway into this little septic field.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
a tight tank system.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see that.
sure.
I've actually got a measurement from the pole, the
Yeah,
electric pole.
everything's been
So that's-
remeasured, and everything is exactly where it
Okay.
should be.
Okay.
And you can see, I just paid to have it done again, so.
Okay, did you attach a written statement when you're saying yes here?
A written statement for what?
By such a professional certifying substantial compliance with the plans?
Well, that's the Title V,
Okay, okay.
right?
Board, any issues with this?
Steve, you said you went out there this weekend?
I did.
Everything looked tight and good?
So if we're
It did.
looking, it's just, if you want to show that to Art.
It's the septic, the tight take area, it all looked pretty fine. I mean, I can show you the video if you want to see it,
Yes.
but I didn't have any issues.
It's built exactly where it was supposed to be
Yeah,
built.
could you play it, Steve?
Okay.
Is it in the driveway, the leach field?
Yes, it's over a road area.
So you got a driveway.
So this is where the tight tanks are. You can see the manholes right there, one there.
Could you make it a full screen?
Yeah, I don't know why,
Yeah, it was a split. Yeah, there you
There
go.
we go.
Thank you.
Thanks.
sorry about that.
Oh,
Yeah, I manhole everything, so
okay,
it's very easily inspected and
Agreed.
pumped out.
yeah.
So that's where the tanks are, right there. Gets pumped up this driveway, and at the top of that driveway, that's where the leach field is.
Can I grab that back, please?
Yep, thank you.
That coned off right there is the D box.
Okay.
And then my Title V guy came and looked and measured and took all sorts of information and made his report.
Looks pretty stable. I mean, after all these years, it's part of the driveway.
Board, do you have any questions on this? Issues? I'll entertain a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 76 Oak Street.
So moved.
Motion made
Second.
by Art, seconded by Mark. All those in favor, roll call.
Eric Bern's aye.
Art Potman, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungin,
Thank you very much. We have that
Yeah,
ready.
I have that typed up. I know he's waiting for the certificate for banking issues, so I typed that up for him and
Mark, could
the
you
commission
grab
can
that
sign
for
it
me?
tonight.
76 Oak.
Thank you.
So Bill, you can just stop by tomorrow and pick it up. They'll sign it later tonight.
Yeah,
Okay.
do you want to give him an original? Steve?
Yeah, there's two, I always make 2 copies, so that you can, if you sign it now, one original goes, stays with us, and one goes to the applicant owner. If you sign it now, you can give it to him now.
Okay.
Cool.
How's that for service?
Say, you know, it's 14 years, you know, somebody dropped the ball at the end.
Oh, the owner.
but not us, not the town of Douglas.
But
Look at us.
I didn't know. You know, I pay people to do the job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I paid Andrews, and I figured,
Uh-huh.
okay, they take care of all the paperwork, right? So I had no idea, and you know, if I was out of compliance back 14 years ago, maybe I should have got a note
No,
or a
it's-
call saying, hey, you're out of compliance. you
It's
know?
closing the loop. We don't, it's an encumbrance on your property. It's not, we have encumbrances on ours too, so.
Yeah, but I just thought maybe the commission would just send a letter saying, hey, you know, you're out of compliance, so don't use it or something, you know?
Well, typically, more importantly, would be the septic as-built. That would be even before our concern,
Yeah.
to make sure that it was installed properly.
Oh, yeah,
No.
yeah. All the inspections were done at the time, you know, I talked to my installer about it, he goes, I can't backfill anything until everything's inspected. He says, I can't do anything. So,
Yeah.
he goes, it's done, so,
Yeah,
you know.
falling through the cracks. It was a busy time, right? 2007?
Every
It
day
was
is busy.
in the middle of the crashing.
But when I put in my next system, I'll make
Yeah.
sure,
Just give it to him.
that paperwork gets done.
Yeah,
You know, now I know.
perfect. Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, we have another copy, Mark. Number 7, 30 Lackey Dam Road, Uxbridge, Douglas, Harrison, French and Associates to discuss process required to tie into sewer connection on Lackey Dam Road, discussion only. Is anyone here wishing to speak on this item?
Rich DeFusco from HFA.
Hi,
Hi, how you doing?
good, how are you?
I'm well.
Do you have a specific question?
We are doing the plans for the rebuild of the Shell station in adjacent Uxbridge. And the sewer department is bringing a sewer line up the street and putting in a manhole that we can tie into, which is in Douglas, just the other side of the line from Uxbridge. So what we want to find out is what is the process in Douglas to connect into this sewer manhole, The work that we would be doing in Douglas is entirely in the paved road. So basically trenching to install the sewer connection. There'll also be work done, obviously in Uxbridge, we'll have to go through their conservation also. And I'm assuming we have to do an NOI there. But we were actually told by the conservation agent there that if it was only a sewer connection in a paved roadway, that would be considered a minor activity, which would be exempt from the riverfront regulations. So basically seeing if Duxbridge has that same consideration.
Will you be using stake straw wattles or silt fence and straw bales?
Yes, we'll be using all erosion control equipment. Any work done, the trenches will be backfilled and closed at the end of the day. And we will be putting together a full plan for that. We only have kind of a draft concept now, just to see what we needed to do.
Approximately how long will the work take in our town?
I mean, I would think they could do it in 1 day, maybe 2 days. It's 39 linear feet of sewer line.
Okay. Lord, do you have any issues? Appears to be temporary disturbance, infrastructure that's needed. I don't have any issues. They're going to be BMPs, and I don't have an issue with them proceeding.
You said it's completely within the pavement?
The part that's in Douglas is completely within the paved roadway. Yes, it'll be extending into the landscape area once we get into Uxbridge.
Excuse me, I'm Steve Pedro.
I'm sorry, sir, you're not recognizing this is discussion. Sorry.
I'm with HFA.
Oh, okay, all right. Just okay, what do you have? Name and address if that's okay.
Steve Pedro with HFA.
Yeah.
What I have is a preliminary plan that shows the proposed sewer line coming from the Shell property over to the
You could just
manhole.
let Mark show, but this is discussion, so it's
Yeah.
a hot second to,
But just to...
nothing is filed.
No, just to give you an idea of the extent of the work. There's this is the Shell property, a manhole, and you can see the Uxbridge Douglas line is right within the paved area over to this new sewer manhole that we're looking to connect. So there's that 39 feet.
You have to cross over.
Yes.
Okay. By consensus, any issues with them proceeding with no filing? And considering this as an exempt activity?
I want to see it.
I don't have a
Okay,
problem.
hearing none. We're moving, let's move forward.
There's the Uxbridge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
What shall I say?
Have a good night.
Okay, I'm gonna go out of order on next one.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have 7 PM, NOI DEP number 143-1049, public hearing, notice of intent, Lot 6, Peter Michael Business Park near 100 Davis Street, earth removal and site work for wholesaling and processing of landscaping construction materials, J.A. Taylor Construction Company, Inc., and Second Generation Partners, LLC. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Deeper Street, Douglas, Mass. Legal notice for public hearing pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on May 27th, 2022 at 7 PM or as otherwise scheduled by the Conservation Commission for a notice of intent filed by McIntyre Loam Inc. located at vacant land located near 100 Davis Street. There is no address assigned to this property. Assessor's references are as follows. Map 168, lots 7, 8, and 9, for matters pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed filing involves earthwork and grading on approximately 12 of the 21-acre site. Work is proposed within the wetland buffer zones only. No direct resource area alteration is proposed. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. Public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. Website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the NOI may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission, 508-476-4205, posted 6/17/2022. Okay. Do we have someone presenting for this?
Is the hearing open?
It is.
I have just asked to continue to a little bit later in the meeting. My engineer is a bit tardy.
Okay.
That's okay with me.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to table this item to 7:45.
So move.
Motion made by Art, second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric
Roll
Harris,
call.
aye.
Art Monmany, aye.
Mike? Aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mongemai.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry.
That's all right. Next item, 7 PM RDA public meeting, request for determination of applicability, 29 Shore Road, dock extension. Kenneth Hansen,
Which number is that, Tracy?
numbered 8.
This should be in everyone's package, the copy of the RDA and the hand-drawn plans
One
from
moment.
the applicant.
Sorry, Steve. I just need to open the hearing.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, legal notice for public meeting, request for determination of applicability. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting for Kenneth Hansen on June 27, 2022 at 7 PM in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. The proposed request for determination of applicability work location is 29 Shore Road, Douglas, and the applicant is requesting permission to replace existing wooden stairs with new aluminum and PVC stairs of the same size and replace the existing wood plank and pipe dock with a new dock of aluminum and PVC that is 6 feet longer to 20 feet and 1 foot wider to 4 feet. Also resurface existing deck, 90 square feet. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. The public may participate via remote participation. Website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission, 508-476-4000, extension 205, 6822. Is anyone here presenting for this project? Come on over. And we do have, as Steve had mentioned, a narrative as well as a diagram in our packet.
Yep, do you want
Very nice.
some more copies of the diagram? I can have a number of copies, or do you have
We
enough?
have, yes, this is what we've received
Yeah.
in the packet. So yes, this is good enough.
All right, so you'd like to hear the narrative?
Oh, yeah, sure, if you want to add anything.
Okay, project description. The existing stairs and dock at our family cottage alongside Walden Lake have provided us with access to boating, fishing, and swimming for over 65 years. The proposed replacement of the old wooden stairs and dock with the modern aluminum stairs and dock does not alter the shoreline or the lake bottom. The new stairs will utilize the existing concrete piers at the upper end and rest on the stony gravel lake bottom at the lower end, in the same position as the old stairs. The new dock will be 1 foot wider to 4 feet wide for safety, which is the modern standard width, and 6 feet longer to 20 feet long to better accommodate our boats. The additional length does not impede navigation on the lake. The stairs and dock will continue to be used seasonally, late spring to early fall, and are removed each winter due to ice.
So this is I have the GIS, so you can kind of get a reference on where this is on the screen. So we come down Wallen Lake Terrace, and you take a right. There's an old the old, I think this is the old ice railroad bed, but now it's the gate road. And I believe their house is way out here. So I have a video. I'll show you the video of the site real quick.
And you're just, when you say resurface, you're actually removing the boards of the existing deck and replacing them with no
We're
earthwork?
going to put Trex or AZEK or something like
Okay.
that on there. It's,
Okay.
So this is the video showing. So this is the video of the site.
Could we make the screen full screen, please? Thank you. Then we see that boulder is the boulder depicted in your diagram.
Yeah, this is a big boulder there, lots of big boulders.
This is Douglas.
I can understand why he wants to replace it. I almost went in myself. It's a little spongy.
It's a little spongy.
So you said you're gonna put Trex to replace the stairs?
The deck,
The deck?
which is right there, right on that.
Yeah, I saw it.
And then the stairs go down, they're going to be aluminum and PVC, and then the deck is aluminum, the dock is aluminum and PVC also. It'll be 6 feet longer, it's not going to, doesn't make it to the rock, comes closer to the rock.
And will you just be removing the boards off-site, or are you going to be repurposing them? Okay, so
No,
they're,
they're going
okay,
into the dumpster.
okay. Yeah, that's
You
really,
can see the concrete piers underneath the
okay,
front there.
yeah. Board, any questions, concerns? The only thing I would say is replacing the boards on the existing deck with no earthwork.
No?
Is that accurate?
Right.
Okay.
Everything is going in exactly the same location. The new stairs are the exact same size as the old stairs. The new dock is bigger, just for the
Longer.
old style is not as safe as we could hope.
Yes, yes. Okay, excellent, thank you. Board, anybody? Comments? I'll entertain a motion to issue a negative determination of applicability.
So moved.
Motion made by Art,
Second.
second by Mike. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Art Mott, aye.
Mike? Mike?
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, nice sketches, by the way.
Very nice sketches.
Oh, thank you.
We'll have that for you tomorrow. We'll sign it tonight, and then
Okay.
you can proceed. So,
All right, great.
good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, next, 7 PM, public hearing, notice of intent, 80 West Street, septic repair. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, legal notice for public hearing. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on June 27th, 2022 at 7 PM for notice of intent filed by Brian Camuso located at 80 West Street for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas bylaw, Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves septic repair and associated grading. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, Douglas, or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law. Chapter 30A, Section 18, the public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda, posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice of intent may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission, 508-476-4000, extension 205, June 15th, 2022.
Did you say we had a DEP number or not?
Do we have a DEP number issued yet? No, we do not,
Okay, thank you.
unfortunately. Okay.
Good evening, Karen Keegan, Allen Engineering. I'm here for the Musos. 80 West Street is in need of a septic repair. It's a 3-bedroom house. The existing wetlands are in the back of the property. The proposed septic system is up as close to the roadway as we can possibly get it, and as far away from the house. It's a pump system. The proposed grading and straw wattles around the project on the back end, on the front of the house right here. The septic system is proposed to be 76.8 feet from the wetland line, and the straw wattles are proposed to be 55.7 feet from the wetland line. All work is in the front of the house. I know I don't have a stockpile in here, but we could locate it on the outside of the 100-foot buffer right there. It's pretty kind of straightforward. Does anybody have any questions?
Then no machinery parked, they'll be parked in the driveway.
Yep, we could put that in. I don't know if it's in my notes.
Here's a video, I'm showing a video now if you're interested.
That's the area where the septic's gonna go. Pretty much the edge of the lawn is the wetland area.
Board, any questions?
No.
Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments regarding this agenda item, 80 West Street? Seeing none. Oh,
Do you know how old this house is?
Off the top of my head, no, it's not. What?
Well, I'm just looking at the edge of lawn being right at the edge of the wetlands as to when that was developed, when that became lawn, to see if it's in compliance with any previous permits for disturbance area.
I would guess that it's over 30 to 40 years old.
Steve, you can confirm that the lawn goes right to the edge of the wetland, is that, or the apparent edge of wetland?
Well, I saw from the, looks like the wetland flags were in a little bit from the lawn,
Okay.
from my video. That's why I went back and then I zoomed in on one of the flags. So one of the flags were, it looks like it was, here, let me show you. Is this on, is it showing on the screen?
No, not yet.
Hang on. One second, too much open.
1976.
Pretty darn old.
Second.
I have no problem with the septic system. I was going to ask if there was a way that we could ask them to reduce their lawn at the back to give a little bit of setback to the wetland at the back. I don't know if that's even in, if we could do that. This is part of our jurisdiction or not.
Oh, is it on there now?
there's no
It is.
active encroachment.
Looks like it's a couple.
So here's the, if I come to the end of the video, let me,
I would consider it as an existing disturbance that,
Those flags are the wetland probably, right?
yeah, I'll show you right here, Mark. You see that red flag right there?
Yep,
Into the woods a little bit?
yep. I
And
see
then I'm
that.
standing probably on the edge, so there's a little bit of buffer between the lawn and
Okay.
and the wetland.
I would say we really can't
No.
enforce.
I
If
don't know.
there was an active disturbance, if there were any evidence of clearing, or, then you could probably request some restoration as part of the approval. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it doesn't appear like there's active, like even mowing within towards that. It's an established edge of lawn.
Yeah, well, what Steve just showed too, I'm happy to see there's at least 10 feet, it looks like.
Yeah.
5 or 10 feet
Yeah.
of
Vegetation.
Vegetation.
For filtering.
Yeah, it looks like about 10 feet.
Okay, I called for public comment. We'll have to continue.
Yep.
'Cause no DEP number. July 18th. I'll entertain a motion to continue 80 West Street to July 18th, 7 PM.
So move.
Motion made by Art, second by Eric. All those in favor?
Art Motley, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungimai.
Thank you very much.
Continue to,
July 18th.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for your
Have a
time.
good night. Okay. We've got 3 minutes. Because I continued. 2
If you
minutes.
want
2
to take a
minutes.
couple minutes,
Yeah,
on the minutes,
yes.
real quick, the 4 that Steve had given us, I didn't do March 21st because I wasn't there. And April 25th looked good.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion if everyone's ready.
The times are in there now and everything.
Okay.
So I move to accept the April 25th minutes as
Presented?
presented, yeah.
Okay. Motion made by Art,
Second,
second by Mark. All those in favor?
Art Motley, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungimai.
May 16th, everything looks good, but there's a DEP number missing, and I don't know that we want to, I don't know if we want to add that retroactively. It's on that 100 Davis Street project.
So if we don't have the DEP number the day of the meeting, then we don't need to put it in because we know it after the fact.
Okay, well, I'm just bringing it to your attention,
Yeah.
you know. But the minutes themselves, everything looked okay other than that.
Okay. This is April 25th?
This is, no,
Sorry, May 16th.
May 16th.
And for the record, I'm abstaining for April 25th meeting minutes.
I don't even see those in here.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve May 16th as written.
So moved.
Motion made by Art, second by Eric. All those in favor?
Art Motley, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungimai.
Okay, thank you.
And the last meeting looked pretty good as well, June
6th?
6th, right, couldn't find the date.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for June 6th, 2022.
So moved.
Motion made by Art,
Second.
second by Mike. All those in favor?
Art Motley, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungimai.
Okay.
Okay, so that gets
Thank
you to
you.
your 7:45 spot.
Yes, it does. So we've previously continued the public hearing for 100, near 100 Davis Street, Lot 6, Peter Michael Business Park. We will resume since everyone is now present for the 7 PM meeting date.
I noticed we were so far down on the agenda, I thought I could maybe sneak in dinner before, but shame on me. Sorry about that, here I am.
Ta-da.
For the
Name and
record,
address, please.
My name is Michael Dryden, I'm a senior project manager with Allen Engineering, here on behalf of McIntyre Loan. Of course, Tom McIntyre is sitting at the table with us. So just quickly regarding,
If I could just stop you, could we pull up the plan, please, for everyone online? Thank you.
Do you have any plans for here? Or do you have plans?
I have paper plans, but they were sent in as well, so you do.
Yep, let me bring them down to you, Mark.
Thank you.
And any other sets you would like to bring for us tonight would be good.
Shall I hold on for a moment?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. I at least want it to be pulled up on the
Sure.
television for everyone at home.
Well, let's see if we have a DEP number now.
Yeah, we just received it today.
This slope.
There we go. We'll spend most of our time on that plan. I just want to quickly touch on this one,
Okay.
just for context.
Thank you.
Steve?
You?
Oh, those aren't yours anyway, huh?
I think they're yours.
Like origami.
Origami?
Maybe I shouldn't have folded.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
set?
please proceed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we are seeking an order of conditions tonight for Lot 6 of Peter Michael Business Park. This is a recently approved subdivision that you're familiar with. Again, Lot 6, it's 21 acres in the industrial district, derives its frontage from the end of Legacy Circle. Of course, the wetland resource area is very fresh in the commission's mind. We submitted an ANRAD, and the ORAD was issued on the resource areas. You'll recall that there were a few changes made. The designation of one of the streams was changed. There were some wetland flags that were added. Those changes that you see highlighted on your plans are reflected on these plans. So all the resource areas that are on these plans dated last revision 6/13 are current and coordinated with the ANRAD. Topography on the site, you're very familiar with it. It's irregular in nature. We did do a test pit program, pretty extensive test pit program to determine seasonal high groundwater and, of course, general soil characteristics for stormwater management purposes. Pretty straightforward from existing conditions. So the access is derived from Legacy Circle. There is a gas line crossing in this location, which is detailed on the plans as well. I'm just going to flip to the plan that's on the screen so we're all on the same page here. I'll join you, Tom. So starting with the proposed project, as you probably know, at this point in time, it's a unique project in that the site plan consists of no buildings and no impervious surface. It's really just a pad for Mr. McIntyre to operate his processing business. So I just kind of wanted to make this clear to the commission because there's the earthwork sort of connotation here. And the reason we did file an earthwork special permit with the planning board is because under the earthwork bylaws, there's no exemption. In other words, one of the exemptions would be for a building work that's incidental with a building permit. Well, we don't have a building here, so it's sort of an interesting, unusual situation. So we filed the earthwork special permit, as well as the site plan that you see before you. We consider the site plan to be sort of the equivalent to a building permit, if you will, but it's sort of the belts and suspenders approach. I know, it's unusual, but to be safe, we have both the earthwork special permit, and this is just background. Of course, we're just here for the notice of consent with the commission. So I just wanted everybody to sort of understand why we have approached this the way we have, and to also understand that this is not a typical earth removal operation. It's really grading and earthwork that is required to create a level pad for Mr. McIntyre to operate his business. So with all that said,
So the earthwork is associated with permittable use of the property, though? So the only reason why is to make it flat.
Right.
So,
Right, this is,
so we're not, it's not earthwork per se digging down, it's for preparation of a use that is allowed use.
Correct.
On the property.
yeah, that is correct.
So we're not actually removing earth. But it's not earth removal.
There will be some material that eventually leaves the site, but it's not intended as earth removal under the earth removal bylaw. It's not a gravel borrow
Okay.
operation or anything like that.
Okay. Because the label is earth removal,
Well, that's why, that's why I wanted to
not
give you.
earthwork, so that name is really odd for us. So I want to make sure that the board understands we're getting pad ready, essentially, for the operation.
Exactly,
To run a business, we're not moving large amounts of
Whatever dirt you
material.
got after you grade, you're gonna take it off-site.
Right, there
Yes.
certainly will be some surplus material. There's
Yes.
actually fill areas as well as cut areas.
Right. So we've received this review for McCarty for, it was June 27th, 2022. So
Yep.
have all of their concerns been addressed? Because you have your plan date as June 13th.
So we received, McCarty did a peer review for the planning board.
Yes, we have
As part of the
that.
site plan. So we have not addressed those comments in writing. We addressed those verbally to the planning board.
Okay.
They're all very easily addressed, but we wanted to wait for this meeting before we did any formal written responses. But I think the ones that are most pertinent for the commissioner, stormwater, the others, so you have that June 13th letter in your hand?
Yes, we all have that
I can walk
attached.
right through those comments if you wish.
Well, I just want to know, so June 13th, you received the planning board and you've reflected those issues onto the June 16th?
No, we have not. We didn't want to revise plans yet until we met with the commission, so that if you had revisions, we would make one set of revisions. But again,
Okay.
the comments are extremely minor in nature, and they can all easily be addressed.
Okay. All right, so we talked about the stream the last time.
Yes.
So that's going to be addressed. That wasn't addressed?
It was.
Before okay. So the one, sheet 3 of 6.
So keep in mind that all these parts are moving simultaneously, so the ANRAD was ongoing, we filed a special permit.
Yeah, so from the
comments are sort
ANRAD.
of overlapping, and
From the ANRAD, that it should have been revised, right? Wasn't it revised?
these plans that you have as part of the notice of intent
Yeah.
reflect the ANRAD.
Okay.
But the ANRAD has not been accepted.
Yeah.
The ANRAD process is
Yes.
completed.
Yeah, an ORAD was issued. But my question is, from the planning board, sheet 1, the number 1, general comments, is still having sheet 3 of 6 as unnamed intermittent.
Again, you got to think about how the chronology of this.
Yeah.
We filed the ANRAD, we filed the special permit with the planning board right on the heels. As the ANRAD was changing, we were getting
Okay.
comments based on the original resource areas.
Okay.
It is confusing, it's moving quickly, but I can assure you that all those changes are reflected. So we still have some, to answer your earlier question, we still have some technical comments that haven't been reflected on the plans, but the resource areas have been reflected on the plans.
Right. So what are we looking at for closest disturbance?
51 feet.
Okay, and what activity is that?
So it's
And if you could
51
point to,
Sure. Let me see this on the paper. So your bylaw has a 50-foot minimum offset to bordering vegetated wetland. That's essentially
commercial does not. Commercial this is commercially zoned, right?
industrial.
Or industrially. Steve, is industrial in our local bylaw 50 or 75?
As for disturbance,
Yes.
I have the regulations.
The local one, the local bylaw?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have them if you can't find it.
Yeah. I'm sure it's going to take a second. Just want to clarify for the record, because I think structures was 50 for residential.
Right, and I think you're correct, it's 75, but we have no structures, we just have disturbance.
Is it structure?
There's no
Structure,
structure.
75, okay. All right, so let's go over the activity.
and what it's gonna look like after they're done.
Sure. So we have bordering vegetated wetland on the east and north, and then again, we have that unnamed intermittent stream. The local bylaw requires a 50-foot minimum offset from BVW and 100 to the stream. So we've maintained 100 from the stream, as well as 50 from the bordering vegetated wetland.
Thank you. And that one is the intermittent
This
stream?
is the intermittent stream that we
Okay.
had changed the designation of.
Thank you.
You'll recall, well, you weren't at the sidewalk, but there was a lot of discussion about this. Where this intermittent stream meets up with Dunleavy Brook to the north, that's where it becomes perennial.
Okay.
So here, we're just dealing with this section of intermittent stream. And of course, the ANRAD was for a much larger parcel, was 160 acres. This is just 21 acres of that ANRAD.
And you're correct with the limit of disturbance at 50 for a commercial industrial parking lot.
50
Okay.
for BVW, and I believe it's 100 to the stream.
It says resource area, but
And it may be elsewhere in the bylaw.
maybe an intermittent stream?
I think it just says stream. Well, if, of course, it's perennial, you're subject to a 200-foot riverfront area. I have it highlighted in my version.
Yeah, it says where the wetland is actually a river or perennial stream, a 100-foot no build will be maintained.
So it uses the word river.
Yeah.
Well, we have 100 feet, so it's
Okay.
only a small
Well,
stretch.
Yeah.
It's a very small
Okay.
stretch along the
Okay.
stream anyway.
Okay. So that area actually is outside of our jurisdiction. So let's, right? Because it's an intermittent, you're saying 100 feet?
Yes,
So that's, we don't need to talk about that part,
okay.
right?
Right, so then, having
If you're
said
holding that 100,
we have an isolated wetland here. Your local bylaw applies. So from that isolated wetland to the north, this BVW, it's hard to see on these plans, it's highlighted on your copies. And then around to the west, we've maintained again that 50-foot buffer
okay.
to BVW. So essentially what we have is, when final grading is complete, there's a ridge, a proposed ridge across the center of the site. The northern half flows to this stormwater basin 3, the southern half to stormwater basins 1 and 2.
Okay, so as you brought up the basins, DEP had a comment about the
They did.
basins not being used. Here. Not be used for temporary sedimentation
Yes.
basins.
This is a comment that aggravates me to no end.
Okay.
It's in volume 2 of the Stormwater Handbook, which is not a regulation, it's a guideline. It's not a one-size-fits-all. I always am perplexed by this comment when I get it. I sometimes get it, I sometimes don't. But of course, we provide these basins at the lowest point at the site. And what we can do to respond to that comment is rather than excavate basins to their proposed bottom, we can maintain 1 foot above that while they're used as sediment basins. Then, when they're ready to be converted to permanent basins, the sediment is excavated, and then that last foot of naturally occurring material is excavated.
Okay.
The reason they make that comment is because they don't want the soil to be clogged with fines as a result of sediment. So it makes no sense to me to move basins away from a low point. It just, I think everybody would agree that that's how we engineer these sites.
So could you give us a summary of the volume 2, chapter 2?
I
What
don't
it
have that in front of
specifically
me. They
says?
basically, they
Is
restated
it,
that.
okay, is it, because,
It's as stated right there in the comment.
okay. And then you'll change your HydroCAD to Woods Good?
Yes,
Cover.
that's
Okay.
consistent with the comment that we received from McCarty Engineering through the planning board as well.
Okay, yep. I saw that. Okay, all right. And what portion of the 12 acres would you say is within the jurisdiction? Within the 50, that top portion?
Well, I'm going to guess now,
Yeah, percentage-wise.
say within that 50-foot buffer, it's less than 10% of the site.
Okay. And then you are going to supply the wetland delineation report?
It's
Already part of the record?
so
Okay,
I
so,
don't think McCarty understood that we went through the NRED.
okay. And then I know, but just to keep it,
We're happy to do that,
Yeah.
for the record.
just to keep it this filing versus the other filing.
Right.
And then I see there's a color scheme outlined.
I
Did
did
Steve
call-
do that? Or did
So
you
they
write it?
received an email version of the plan, so I
Okay.
highlighted the plans manually.
Thank you. And then you are going to add on the erosion control area layer.
So I'm not really sure what they're talking about because the plans have the erosion control.
Oh,
The confusion may be that the grading plan, just for clarity, doesn't have it, but the erosion and sediment control plan does.
okay, okay. And then we talked about the stream, and then you've got a SWIP coming.
Yep.
You're gonna give us a copy?
Yep, absolutely.
And then, okay. Board, questions, comments?
I have a few.
Sure, yeah, you could go first.
So I'm confused about the earth removal versus earth work issue and setbacks relative to that. If it's an earth removal, aren't there supposed to be setbacks from property lines for that activity? And as such, is the work close to this second-generation partner's lot that is adjacent to it? I mean,
Would
it's
you like to
100
answer that?
feet typically.
Yes, it
That
is
is
100
correct.
feet.
We received a waiver from the planning board for that.
Okay. Thank you. As you go into the site from our site walk the other day, or a couple weeks ago, whenever it was, this ridge right here is like a rock ledge. It's probably 10 feet high, from what I remember. So
Correct.
that's getting completely blasted out of there.
Correct. There are some areas of rock on the site. There will be some rock removal.
Okay. And will that material stay on site, or is that being removed from the site, do you know?
Would you like to field that?
No material is being removed from the site raw. It's all going to be processed as part of our normal business operation. And if it ultimately leaves the site, it would be as processed material being wholesaled or distributed to customers.
Okay. What will the base of your pad be? Will it be soil? Will it be gravel?
Gravel.
Will it be?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be all completely disturbed and not restored in any way?
The portion, through the chair, the portion that will be restored are the grass swales along the perimeter, as well as the off-graded slopes. Those will all be stabilized, but the level pad itself, which is right around 11 acres, maybe a little more, will be a compacted gravel surface.
So those stabilized slopes that you're speaking of, are they on our side of a jurisdictional area?
They're both.
Okay, and what's the mix going to be to
Well,
stabilize?
we propose loam and seed, but Tom, I know that you've used,
We've used
Paper
paper pulp in the
Product.
past on our restorations to great success.
and they're 3-to-1 slopes, so they're not steep, they're not susceptible to erosion.
Okay, I'll just have to check with Steve on that. Points and marks.
Is there any tree planting proposed in any of the areas that are getting restored?
There is not.
No.
They would simply be in the way.
So like this 3-to-1 cut slope, it would not be something that you could put trees on?
You certainly could, but we're not proposing.
You're not
any
proposing it?
vegetation at this time, just stabilization.
Just stabilize with loam and seed?
Correct.
Would you be open to planting any trees to replace the 21 acres or 12 acres of trees that are being removed? I know that's complete site, not just the wetlands, and the wetlands are smaller than that, but the buffer zones, would you be open to doing that?
I would not, and the reason is there's a very complicated deal in place. The consideration is not just cash. There's going to be, likely I will be back before the planning board at some point with an earth removal permit on Lot 5 below it, which is where your hand is. So the trees would, that's not before us, anyone now. I don't anticipate that would involve a Conservation Commission hearing at all, but there's more to the site than what you just see in front of you in the long-term plan.
Yeah, I understand. It's a big area. Okay.
So what's the canopy right now out there?
It's,
Do we have 50-foot trees that will be remaining?
within the limit of work?
No, at the 50. So it's providing
Oh,
cover, to the resource areas, is
Absolutely.
where I'm going with that. So it's not like they're gonna be warming up over there, drying out at all. There'll be enough cover
Can't
to
be shaded,
keep,
yeah.
yes. So I don't know what the benefit, what the positive would be, considering they're also keeping it all pervious. The entire site's gonna remain pervious, correct, except for the stockpiling. Even that.
Even that's going to be, you know,
Yeah.
sand, gravel type stuff that'll drain through the piles.
And lastly, is there any way that we could move the limit of work to the buffer line near the vernal pool that's located, or in this corner over here? I see you're
Isolated.
extending isolated land subject to flooding. I think it is a vernal pool. I know it's a vernal pool. So this knob right here, is there any way to move the limit of work back to the top of that knob and keep the slope that's going towards that isolated land subject to flooding from being disturbed?
It's probably 15 feet.
Yeah.
Can I take a peek? Is that a potential vernal pool marked on the
It's,
GIS?
as you may recall, as part of the ANRAD.
Yeah.
Sage Environmental did opine that there's physical and biological vernal pool criteria in that vernal pool. So to
Okay.
answer the question at hand, we can easily pull the work limit back to the ridge. It's
Or
15 or
maybe-
20 feet.
Okay.
Right.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
To the 450?
Basically the
Yeah,
450
right on that
contour.
Follow the 450 contour?
The 460
That one right there?
existing underneath.
Yep.
I think what he's suggesting is just maintain the ridge
Correct.
right along that existing ridge.
Correct.
Okay, clarity, the existing grade is what? Where are we?
The existing grade ranges from, it's a ridge that's sort of spread, it's a long linear.
460?
It's 460 at its high point,
Okay,
and then it's 452, it's sort of at its, where it meets.
so we're shifting the limit of work to hook onto the existing 460 topo.
Right at the ridge.
Yep.
I think the ridge is keyword there.
Steve, do you have an opinion on the slope stabilization mix?
Well, the commission, and it's worked out in the last few years, you know, lumen and hydroseed, because you're not, hydroseed, even if they do it in the late fall, early winter, it's gonna give some protection during the non-growing season, and then we've been having people use, if they're not gonna maintain a New England, you know, hydroseed New England wildlife seed mix. We have specs on that, I can send them.
We typically do maintain it. We mow it a couple
Okay.
times a year.
Okay.
And I think we use the mix that's called for in the zoning bylaws under the earth removal. I don't remember if there's an exact mix or if it's a range of mix, but we,
Okay, so I think we'll be good with the lumen seed.
Hydroseed or hydromulch.
Yeah,
yep, we always hydroseed those.
if it's gonna be maintained, yeah. Okay. Board, any other questions, comments? Mike, do you want to see this at all? This is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing? Seeing none, as far as I know. So can you list for me all of the items that will be revised on these plans? And of course, we'll get a final revised plan date on that.
I think the easiest thing to do would be to reference both of the comment letters, and all of those comments will be addressed,
In addition to.
in addition to the change we just made,
Which was,
is to move the limit of work from its current location adjacent to the isolated wetland to the point of the ridge, the adjacent ridge. In terms of other conditions,
What's this like secondary, it looks like topo line area right here.
Those are, so we did a test pit program, and we generated approximate groundwater contours from that, just as a guide for stormwater. And by the way, I didn't get to this point in my presentation, but we do have a 4-foot offset from groundwater to the bottom of each of the 3 basins.
Okay. So you'll be addressing DEP's comments as well?
Oh, yeah,
The
sure.
wood's good?
Yep.
And then I quickly tried to use that, but if we could just supply us maybe with a justification?
For the basin comment?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Just in summary on your position.
So in writing with the comment responses?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, yeah, because you're going to be responding to this anyway,
Right.
right? So you can include the DEP's response
Yep.
to McCarty.
So there's no drain pipes in these stormwater basins, they all just have like a wear structure that,
They just have a level spreader, if you will, a riprap level spreader, which is typically 1 foot below, just 1 foot of freeboard. So you'll notice the shade here. Right here.
what size stone is that, do you know?
I believe it's, yeah, I mean, it's sizable riprap stone. It's
usually
D50.
4 to 6 inch minus is what I understand riprap to be.
It's that, the 25 pound.
Over 6 inch diameter, yeah.
Mark, you all set? I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion made by Mike,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Rick Harris, aye.
Poppany, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Monjamai.
Make a motion to issue the order of conditions with the conditions previously stated and a final plan date submitted to the board. Motion made by Art,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Rick Harris, aye.
Our Poppany, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Monjamai.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You as well.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks. Next item on the agenda, notice of intent, public hearing, amended notice of intent 115 Shore Road, Robert and Diane Miller. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. Legal notice for public hearing pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on June 27, 2022 at 7 p.m. for a notice of intent filed by Robert Miller located at 115 Shore Road, Douglas, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves site grading modification. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, Douglas, or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda, posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the plan may be examined electronically by contacting Conservation Commission 508-476-4205. So just for clarity on the record, you've applied for an amended notice of intent?
Yeah.
So that's what your form says, right? Because this says a notice of intent in that.
That's what the commission recommended.
That's what the commission
When we came here last time, the commission said.
amended, yeah, to amend the existing order.
Yeah.
So you're keeping with the same DEP number, right? Yes, okay. All right. Just, we don't have a ton of these, so just want to clarify for the board. So we are modifying the existing order of conditions with this filing.
It's still valid.
I'm sorry?
Still a valid ordinance.
Right, we're modifying the existing. Yes.
Good evening, my name is Raouf Makaris with Alpha Omega Engineering. I'm here with Robert and Leanne Miller, the owners of the property. We came here a few months ago regarding some things. Basically, we were asking, instead of doing all the grading, we pull the grading back and we just add retaining walls. The original plan was approved back in 2016. The gray house, the gray line right here is the approved house, and this is the red one, is the proposed one. And I emailed it, actually, it's right on the screen. Back in 2018, we had those modified house right here on the plan, the revised house. And in 2020, back during construction, there was some issue with sediment control. And then we came before the commission and we had a sediment control plan that was approved. So basically right now, the only thing we're asking for, instead of doing all the grading going toward the lake, we will pull all the grading back and we add some retaining walls, some septic tank, and we eliminate all that. Most of the site is already graded and it's actually, the grass is growing, it's all stabilized. The only work that's left is the retaining wall itself and the stairs. Other than that, everything is complete.
So what's the purpose of the retaining wall? There's an existing retaining wall.
There is an existing retaining wall, and just we're going to continue with the retaining wall that is lined to go toward the house. The grading lines that go closer to the wetland, to the lake, this will be pulled back, eliminated, and we're just adding retaining walls and couple stairs, and we eliminate all the grading.
And the proposed 6-foot fences, is that part of your filing?
That was part of the original approval.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
And
yeah.
they already done.
Okay.
So everything is already done except the stairs.
Were we changing the size of the wall?
Yeah, we're lowering the wall that's shown on the plan to be 4 feet maximum.
Okay.
From actually currently, like one wall is 5 feet, but he's gonna take 2 blocks down and make it.
The existing pipe that travels through to the water, you've seen that this is from the plan before.
Yes.
So you have confirmed the location and it's existing,
Yes.
the 12-inch.
Yeah, we're not touching that.
And then the existing 8-inch CMP is,
It's 8-inch to 12-inch on the other side. Somewhere, there is a connection from 8-inch to 12-inch.
okay.
This is an old.
And that's new, that was a revision that you did to this plan? Because previously, what was it previously?
No, it was the same.
It was 8-inch?
Yeah, it was 8-inch on one side, on the upper side, and goes into a 12-inch pipe on the lower side.
Steve?
I think if he shows you the original plan, there's no text that says 8-inch.
Okay, so if we could go to the original approved, is this it? There's no text on that. It says existing, so you did this plan, right? Yeah. So this is existing 12-inch RCP and it connects to the other side.
Yeah, the other side is existing 8-inch seam.
Where does it say that? Do you have a plan that says that?
Right, so maybe you missed that, but it is 8-inch on the other side.
Now, existing, because it was
It's all
replaced.
existing, yeah. We never touch those pipes. Those are like under the road, goes onto our property, and we didn't touch any of those pipes during construction. That's something that was done way before he was in work.
Okay, but the roadway one,
It's still
Was-
existing, we didn't touch it. During the whole process, we didn't touch this pipe.
okay. But now you're labeling it as
Yeah, just
8-inch.
we adding the label, that's all.
Okay.
Because it's one end 12, the other end is 8.
I thought that pipe was replaced last summer when we had all the flooding there. I thought that there was a new pipe that was installed in that location.
Right, so this plan indicates, I mean, there's no change in the item here, it says existing 12-inch RCP throughout, if you look at this plan. And then there's no evidence that the existing in the road was 8-inch or 12-inch. And we were
12 last July.
told it was 12.
Replaced with 8.
Yes, okay. Do you have a certificate of compliance from Board of Health?
Not yet. We're just waiting to finish all the work or the grading around the septic so we can have a certificate.
Okay, and that retaining wall doesn't interfere with your approvals?
No.
So this is the emergency order that was issued in a letter to the owners.
I spoke to the Board of Health agent and he's okay with all the work. She said once we're done with the wall, we can just submit it in the road.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. And you mentioned the water, instead of flowing to the lake, where is it flowing to? Where is it gonna, it's gonna be trapped on the top?
Where?
You said something about the flow, you're redirecting the water?
No, we're not redirecting it.
Okay, so,
The only thing we're doing is just taking this grading back and we're adding a retaining wall, we're emitting all the grading in the site. That's all.
But that's not going to change the direction of the water flow?
No, actually, we were adding all this grading here, so basically it would be a retaining wall. All this would remain the same, we're not adding any fill material.
so could you walk me through what you're exactly doing? Because it's a little confusing.
Sure.
Where's, so I see like approved finished grade on here.
Yes.
So if you could walk us through,
So the existing ground is like at this elevation, we were proposing to add more grading for the septic. So, and instead of doing all this grading, we're just adding the retaining wall and we're eliminating all the proposed grading. So instead of bringing.
you're omitting it?
I'm sorry?
You're omitting the
Yes.
proposed, okay, so
Yes.
that's not shown on this plan though.
It's shown right here, approved finished grade and the proposed retaining wall, so all this finished grade will be done. It's already done, actually, there is no grade. So basically, instead of bringing more fill material to the site, we're just adding retaining wall and this will be done.
That was the old approved finished grade.
Yes.
Okay, so you still have those words on there. Because we want to make sure that we're not causing any changes in the runoff. You know that this is a very sensitive area, so we have to be very clear on what we're allowing the amendment for.
If you look at the pictures, actually, the work is completed except the retaining wall, the grass is there.
There's no erosion occurring. Can I have the pictures?
You want to see the video?
Sure.
I have some pictures, like.
See it?
Yeah.
So there's, this is the existing retaining wall,
Yes.
which is shown on here
Yes.
as,
Existing 5-foot retaining wall to be maximum 4 feet high. So we'll take 1 foot down.
you're removing that, okay.
So this is the only work area remaining where the tanks are. That's where we're proposing the second wall, and then we'll finish the grading on top of it. So right there by the white fence, instead of having all the grading going down to the lake, we're gonna eliminate that. This is the backyard.
It looks like I can't see the existing grades on your plan. All I see, I believe, are proposed grades. The proposed grades show a slope towards the property boundary and towards the lake, but they're as much towards the property boundary, I believe, as they are towards the lake. So with the change, with adding the retaining wall, what is the direction of flow of water in that area?
Still going toward the lake as before. We're just adding a retaining wall instead of doing the grading that actually was sending some runoff to the neighbor. This will eliminate that. It's because with everything will go directly toward the back of the property.
And how do I know that, looking at the plan, that the water is now not going towards the neighbor, but going towards the steps? Was that where it would go?
Yes. And you have some spot create on it.
I have it, it calls out the top of the wall.
Yes.
And the bottom of the wall, but it doesn't say what the slope is, so the wall is all the same height at the top? It's a level?
But yes, the wall is 1.5, and then the second one terrace is 100, then you got another 196. So you're gonna have terrace wall going down to.
This is the back of that wall.
And it's right there on the video.
Okay, that's the wall that's on the northern side of the steps, but the wall that's on the southern side of the steps is an L shape, and it only has one height on it, 100.5 at the top. What's the elevation of the property line in that area?
Where is that?
Along the southern side of the property boundary.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a wall along the southern side of the property boundary, and then an L-shaped wall next to the steps. But I don't see what the elevation of the wall is.
It says existing 5-foot high retaining wall to be maximum 4 feet high and have a top of wall 100.5, bottom of wall 96.5.
So is it 100.5 from the CBF at the top all the way around?
Right now it's a foot higher than that one, 1.5. I'm gonna take 1 foot down to make it 4 feet maximum. That's but we're zoning have to have maximum 4 feet high. So we're gonna bring it down to 1.5, 100.5.
You're still not helping me on me understanding what direction the water flow is on that
The
that
water
edge.
flow will be going down toward the lake.
Is
toward the lake.
it getting trapped though?
No.
At that front portion? So Mark, there's a picture right here.
If it's all 100.5, there's no pitch.
That's the wall.
I understand. There has to be a pitch somewhere to move that water.
The high point would be on top of the septic tank itself. And then you will grade down top after that. Those are the spot grades for the septic.
So the proposed, I think it's a little confusing
Tank
because,
is 1.28 if you look at the top of the tank right here.
so so you did the wall, but it wasn't approved.
They did the wall, but it was higher than the requirement. Otherwise, you have to go to zoning for higher than 4 feet.
But your original order that we're amending,
Yes.
it was supposed to be graded.
Yes.
As you see the approved finished grade. So you went ahead and did the wall, but that wasn't a permitted
Yes.
under the original order. Then you are doing the wall, so it's essentially tiered, right? So we don't have a grade on the bottom, and then we don't know is it piped through the wall for drainage?
No.
So where is the water going from? You had like the two little walls, and then the wall existing, and then the stairs. So where does the water go?
Well, the top of the septic tank right there is 1.28, and then it will be graded down to 100.5. So you can have about 0.7 foot over like about 5 to 10 feet distance slope toward the tank. You look at the elevation right there.
So where's the water going when it's draining off the septic?
It will be going toward the backyard, toward the stub wall, and then down to the second wall. And the stairs.
Through the wall? Are there pipes through the wall?
No, it will be just on top of the wall. It's just a very tiny area that does not require much drainage. You're talking about 5 by 10 feet.
Okay. Well, we got a lot of drainage issues over there, so we have to be very clear on where the water is going and what direction it's going. And the grading of the proposed grading is on this plan, and it is a little confusing.
Yeah, if you look at the approved plan, you will find a big area, about maybe 15 by 10, that's going toward the neighbor.
The approved plan?
Yes, in the approved grading one. You see the grading like 99, 100, 102, 101. That whole area was supposed to be going towards the neighbor, and we eliminated that by doing the retaining wall.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at the plan, and I hear what you're saying, but I'm not seeing that on the plan. I'm not seeing enough spot grades on the plan for me to understand that it's only going one direction and not also going.
We can add more spot grades. I mean, they are shown in the profile right there, but we can add more spot grades on the plan.
Shown.
A quick note.
Yes?
Well, the abutters list, I got a copy of the abutters list, and I got some documentation from them that they submitted some letters. Is it mailing certificates?
Certificate of mailing, I have them in my hand.
Okay, good. Did you bring him in?
Yep, June 8th, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plus them, 8 total. Steve, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So Steve, when you're on site, is it your understanding, where does the water go when it gets to the wall?
I'm not sure. I mean, it goes over the wall, and then, it's got to go to the lowest spot eventually. There has been some significant rainfall over last summer where there was some pictures that there were some issues from the abutters regarding the drainage in this area. But I think that was, you'd have to ask the design engineer. I'm not sure where.
I think, would you agree that we need a plan showing the existing and then the modifications and grading that they would like to see? The application I don't have in front of me, but the only work would be site grading modification.
The whole front is all same.
Steve?
Yeah, well, I asked them to have the original plan and then whatever work has been done to date, overlay on top of it, and then so the commission can see what was done compared to what was approved to make sure it matches up, and then whatever he's proposing to modify from that.
Okay, do we have that overlay of the?
That's right.
Okay, you have it?
Yeah, that's right here on the plan. I emailed to Steve.
Yeah, one of the things that are different is the pipe, the designation of the pipe. They added the 8-inch, and then around that wall, I guess he pinned the footing. I mean, there's a little bit discrepancy between the distance of the structure, I think, maybe to the pond, but not much.
I can't see the proposed versus the existing house on this plan.
The gray lines are the proposed, the red lines are the existing. And this is a picture for our side, the neighbor side. Our side is completely still by the work that's by the neighbor, not by us, on their property.
Do we have this? Do you have the original order plan with you?
I think Steve has it, you can bring it to the screen.
Because I'm not seeing you.
It's overlaid on this one.
Yeah, is it overlaid on this one too?
Yes, yeah.
I can't see, I see existing deck, existing patio.
And you can look at it here.
Okay, let me just, you see one second.
And those pictures for the neighboring property.
Oh. Oh, mine's not like that.
Oh. I
So-
emailed Steve.
Oh, okay. All right, so this is the original. Okay, all right.
The gray color.
Well, that's probably a little bit easier to understand.
Yep.
And then you've got a retaining wall here also?
This is just.
Or just rock wall?
Rock wall for the door.
And then you have a proposed walkway also?
Yes.
Okay,
It
because
is under the.
if you want to just show that to Mark also, but you've only applied for site grading modification. What were you thinking?
We added the list of what we
In the
requested and
NOI?
Send it to the EPOs.
Oh, okay, all right, good.
So that's the gray line. This is the red lines existing, this is the wall.
Steve?
And this is
Yeah.
this will
Could
be
you
eliminated.
read
All the runoff will
the
be-
application, what was applied for modifications to the original order?
Right, I understand what you're saying, and I like the direction you're going. I would just want to know if that's a point spot.
You can add more
And what
spot
is
grades.
a spot grade on here to show that it's, that water's coming back that way would be great.
No problem.
That would satisfy me.
No problem.
Thank you.
Maybe you can remember for your application, was it proposed walkway, proposed retaining wall? What other items were different than the original order?
I believe that's all, the walkway and the retaining wall, eliminating the grading and adding the retaining wall.
Here's the letter. So when it's amendment, they just have to file a request letter,
Oh, okay, all right.
and then the commission determines if it's going to be, as they did last spring, if it's going to be an amendment to the original order, or they need to file a whole new order. The commission said to amend the original order.
Okay, yep,
He put in writing that what he was requesting right there.
okay. In the order of condition extension dated 8/5/2019, so that was, you've received an extension for 3 years, right?
Yeah. We also added
And then-
18-inch infiltration trenches all around the house to help with infiltration.
What did you do?
We added 18-inch wide infiltration trenches all around the house. It's shown on the plan.
Okay,
That's just to help with the infiltration. So we make from the ground, from the. You can see it here. It's much clearer and red. Right here. Right here and in front of the house on this side. It's all infiltration trenches.
okay.
Are they tied to anything?
No, just taking the roof runoff so it doesn't cause more erosion.
So they have holes in them? They're
Yeah, stone infiltration.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And it's sand, I saw that there's sand at
Sandy soil.
28 to 96.
Just the one between the porch and the septic system?
And on the other side and also the front.
Oh, I see one on the side too, isn't there?
Yes.
It says infiltration stones.
Yes.
So it's piped to the stone trench.
Just
Is that
like
what you're-
stone areas, like 18-inch wide by 18-inch deep stones, 1.5-inch double large stones.
Okay. And then the proposed retaining wall on the front left is not there anymore?
That was one, the red line one, yes.
Okay.
There is an existing block wall that's going to keep it, but it's going to add another wall in front of it. And it's shown on the picture.
Okay. Alright, so, Mark, do you want to see those spot grades?
Yes.
Okay. So you've applied, eliminate approved handicap access ramp and proposed 4-foot walkway. So you're eliminating those and propose a
Yeah.
4-foot walkway?
Yeah, instead of the handicap in front of the house, we're doing a walkway to the driveway.
Okay. Native shrubs have been planted along the southerly
Yes.
lot line.
Those were not on the approved plan, but my client added more shrubs on this area.
Okay, there were some shrubs that were proposed.
Yeah, they still did, in the back. There were some trees planted in the back by the lake,
Yes.
but along the property line, there was nothing proposed.
Okay. Oh, I see. Plantings per conservation.
Yeah,
Okay.
so along the property line south.
And then eliminate approved grading toward the lake and install a retaining wall to keep existing natural grade.
Yeah.
Did DEP have any comments? No.
I'm not sure I still understand where the water's gonna go.
I think he said he would, well, infiltrate in the front yard.
Sorry. I'm hogging the plan over there, Art.
You know what I'm talking about? Once it goes towards this wall, there's no pipes through it or anything.
No, but the slope of the ground is saying. Coming this way from right down to that, and then this is all flat. Flat, it's got a slight pitch towards the water. So he's saying the water now is going to come this way.
So nothing sends stuff.
No, not, well, indirectly, it all goes that way, but it's not going properly.
Yeah, I know that's a good.
Some of these pictures are for the abutting property.
Do you want these back?
I don't want to send you.
There's a couple over there of the front wall. Thank you.
I think that's, you know, this side.
Sediment stuff.
Okay. I'm gonna open it up to the public to see if there's any, I think we need the spot grades on there. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing? Anyone online? Mark, you're not seeing it. Not seeing anyone.
I've been watching for hands.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. My glasses. Okay, so board, I think if we accept the plan for the new plan date, we want to see the previously approved, the existing, and then the proposed changes, right? Like Steve had said, overlay what was previously approved, and then the revised with spot grades, not with the approved final grade on there. Is that what?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds correct to me.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion to continue the hearing to July 18th at 7 PM.
So moved.
Motion made by Art, second by Mike. All those in favor?
Eric Harris,
Yeah.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mongem.
Okay, we'll see you back. Thank you very much.
Clear on what you
Thanks.
need, right?
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, next item, notice of intent, public hearing, 92 Martin Road, new single-family dwelling. I'll read the newspaper article. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street. Notice for public hearing pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on June 27th at 7 PM for notice of intent filed by John Mushin, Ian, if I correct that, located at 92 Martin Road for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw, Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves construction of a single-family house, driveway, and deck within the 50 to 100-foot buffer zone to BBW. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center, located at 29 Depot Street, or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice of intent may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission, 508-476-4205. Published Sunday, June 19th. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Hayes. I'm with Goddard Consulting. I'm here for the applicant of 92 Martin Street. As you know, the notice of intent is for a single-family house within 50 to 100-foot buffer zone. No work will occur within 25 feet of the wetlands. The building will be located outside the 50-foot buffer zone, and the driveway will be located outside the 10-foot buffer zone. All work which will occur within the 50 to 100-foot buffer zone, and that includes a section of a house, deck, and grading.
Okay, thank you very much. We're just looking at the plan right now. Are we at the, so we have the 50 foot, and as far as sliding the entire project forward, what's preventing you from doing that?
I don't know if there's specific setbacks. I do know that there are some zoning.
Yep, we have a 50-foot front offset, which I'm seeing is probably, what's the scale? 1 inch equals 20, so at least they're about, the house is about 60 feet away. So what is the thought I mean, I see you can still catch a test pit, or even 2.
That's the way they have designed it, and there might be a little wiggle room. But that's what they are proposing right now.
Okay. Board, any comments?
I don't see why they can't move that wall.
Yeah, I think you made an excellent comment, Tracy, about why is it so far back on the site when there's so much space in front that's outside of the buffer zone?
Should go towards Martin Road more.
Well, I think it's because they probably want as much front yard as possible. They have to put the septic in there. But outside all the parameters that are set forth, meaning that, you know, the building is outside the 50 foot, there's no work within 25. So we're adhering to the setbacks.
So we'll have to have the 25 foot shown as well. And then you also have, I don't know if that sighting of the house, I'd like an explanation. I see that it's somewhat of a steep grade downward, that you have a vegetated drainage swale. And you've got proposed asphalt driveway, a turnaround. You know, we'd like to prevent the creep into the wetland area, and I see it's down gradient pretty close to where you do have your proposed well, which would be a disturbance. So that looks like about the 25, if I had to guess. So pulling everything forward, I think we need a pretty good explanation of, because you're right at the 100 for the well also, the 100 foot to the septic. You're right here. You're pretty close on that. So just some thought, because we typically will require some plantings or at least signage to deter from getting closer. And if there's some wiggle room to move it forward, we probably wouldn't require that.
Okay.
And then it has some jog, and I'm not sure, this 100-foot wetland buffer is jogging into the home portion, and I'm not seeing that reflected from the wetland flags.
Right.
So there may be something a little funky.
Yeah.
Okay, I will look into that as well.
Then you've got the stockpile area. Will be an asphalt driveway. Steve, did you have any comments on this plan? There's no comments.
You there, Steve?
Oh, sorry. Because it didn't have a DEP number, I didn't really scrutinize it, given everything else that was on the agenda. I knew we were going to continue it, so I was going to probably give a little bit more detailed review by the next meeting. But I agree with everything he said. I don't know why they can't flip I don't know if they want to walk out basement or the slope, but looks like they got plenty of room to move everything forward.
And then when I'm seeing the construction limits, are you planning to put some sort of erosion control there, or is that just as a guide? because I see the erosion controls are the purple, and then you have erosion control around the stockpile, which that's way outside the 100. I don't even need, I wouldn't, if you wanted to do that, it's okay, but I wouldn't specify that that's outside our jurisdiction. So if it's, the sediment's moving around a little bit, it's way, I mean, if you keep everything 60 feet away from the wetland buffer.
Okay.
Is this a completely wooded site, or is this a completely open site? Because I don't see any tree canopy edge.
I believe it's wooded.
It is.
Then can we show the clearing?
You mean the tree line or?
The proposed tree, yeah, the proposed clearing limits for the project.
Okay.
And maybe that's the construction limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anything else, board?
Just some concern about the driveway and how the water's going off the end and towards the wetland, and how that might be treated to slow down the water and to, there again, you're into the 100-foot buffer with the end of the driveway where the water's coming off. Are you trying to get the water to this vegetated drainage swale?
Yes, I will look into that as well. Maybe we can clarify that more.
Okay.
Yeah, grading looks
It's too flat
opposite.
to get it there.
Yeah. And the vegetation that you're planting in the swale.
Okay.
Got a deck. Anything else, board?
No.
Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing? Seeing, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 92 Martin Road to July 18th at 7 PM.
Still move.
Motion made by Eric,
Second.
second by Mike. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Oh, Poppy, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangum,
Thank you very much. Please keep in touch with Steve and try to address any concerns with DEPs before the meeting. Would be great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, the 7 PM public hearing, notice of intent, lot number 1, Walnut Street. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street. Notice for a public hearing pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act. Commission will hold a public hearing on June 27th, 2022 at 7 PM for a notice of intent filed by Mary Pepka, located at Lot 1, Walnut Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves construction of a single-family house with septic system, well, and driveway. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, general law, Chapter 38, Section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice of intent may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission, 58476-4000, extension 205. Name and address, please.
Good evening, my name's Norman Hill. I live in Grafton, Mass.
Hi.
I'm with the company of Land Planning. Good evening. We have 4 lots to present tonight, but I'm not going to go through 4 lots tonight. Rather, I'd just like to give you an overview, and we have to wait for Arthur Allen to confirm the wetland line and the riverfront flags, which have been hung and surveyed and shown on the plan. But I'd just like to give you an overview tonight. I'm going to ask for a continuance of perhaps 6 weeks. I know it's getting late. I don't know if you guys have much gas left. That's almost my bedtime. But I'd like to give you an overview. We did Steve had asked us to do a overview resource area plan, so I'd like to just present that to you, if I could, tonight.
Yes, and since we just have Lot 1 open as
I
a
know.
hearing,
I know.
but we do have in our packet, our Alan has submitted a proposal, resource area review proposal, $1,800 supplemental proposal to review riverfront area alternative analysis. So that has been agreed upon by the applicant and already is being worked on.
Yes, yes, the applicant agreed to have Arthur do that. I've worked with Arthur for over 30 years, he does a good job.
Yes, he does.
And the reason for the 6-week continuance I'm asking is he might need a couple weeks to get out there. And then sometimes he might hang a couple new flags. We have to go out and survey the location of those, and we have to revise the plan, and everybody's very busy, so I think 6 weeks might be a decent amount of time. So this site is on Walnut Street. It's on the south side of Walnut Street in the southwest corner of town. So if you went down to Walnut Street, headed out Walnut Street, before you got to Chestnut Street, it'd be on your left. You would actually cross Tinkerville Brook at the start of this site. So as you get to Tinkerville Brook, the site is on your left. So this plan shows you the overall 28 acres in red. It shows there's a river here, perennial stream. The yellow is the riverfront area on this 28-acre site. And I want you to think of this as a 28-acre development, because we're going to be doing an aggregate plan regarding the riverfront regulations. So there's almost 5 acres of riverfront. The law says you cannot alter more than 10% of that. So brings us down to about a little less than an acre that we're going to be allowed to alter on this site. So what we're proposing on Lot 1, we're proposing about 10,000 square feet of riverfront alteration. Lot 2, about 10,000 square feet of riverfront alteration. And then we're willing to do a deed restriction on the remainder of the land that says there'll be no more riverfront alteration anywhere else on this property. So we're going to be staying under the overall 10%. So everyone follow that aggregate. When you look at the 28 acres and the riverfront area, the 28 acres, you're allowed to combine all the area and then use it parcel by parcel. But we're only going to use about 20,000 in riverfront alteration. Now, there's a finger of wetland that runs up the middle, that parallels the road. It's about 150 to 200 feet back from the road. So as you drive down the road, the lot goes uphill from the road, about 4 feet in elevation, about 100 feet back, and then starts dropping back down to this finger of BVW. So the houses are all going to be located along the road, between the road and that finger of wetlands, all on upland. We're not proposing to fill any wetlands, not going to alter any wetlands, just we're doing work within 100 feet of the wetlands, and we're going to be working in the buffer zone. So it's really what I wanted to present to you tonight. I mean, we'll have to continue all 4 lots for 6 weeks.
Okay.
There's no sense talking about the lots until we know exactly where the lines are.
Right, and you're going to have the calculations for riverfront disturbance on each plan?
Yes, those have been submitted.
Okay.
Yeah, we gave you a septic design plan on each lot. It
Did you do
shows
an
the-
alternatives analysis?
I'm sorry? Yeah.
Alternatives analysis?
Yes, we submitted an alternative analysis, and Arthur's going to review that as well.
Okay. And planned home siting as close to the setbacks as possible?
Yes, yes, yes. We'll go over the individual plans at the next meeting.
Board, any questions? No? Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing? Walnut Street, number 1. Hearing none. So August.
Just a quick comment,
Yes.
why Mr. Hill is here. So I haven't reviewed, I'll wait for Art to go through his, but I do notice a couple of things. Floodplain should be on the plans associated along the riverfront. And if you can submit the plans to 40 scale too, I know there might be, they're blown up so much that you can't really see the surrounding resource areas to get a perspective. So if you can have your plan sheets also show a little bit of a 40 or a little larger so you can see all the wetland flags
Sure.
associated with the proposed lots, that'd be great.
Sure, we can do that. We'll submit just a separate sheet at a 40 scale, sure. All right.
Anything else, Steve?
Well, for now, that was it, and then I'll give more detail as I wanted to confirm the resource areas before, in case something changes, before we.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Sounds good.
August 1st is the next meeting.
Oh, I'd like to go 6 weeks if we could.
Yeah, August 1st.
Oh,
So
that should be good.
July 18th is a little close, cutting.
Yeah, August 1st, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for lot number 1 Walnut Street to August 1st at 7 PM.
You want them all separate?
Yes, I have to open them and then.
So moved.
Motion made by Art,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangum, aye.
And you're going to go 2, 3, and 4 also?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to scoot.
You-
Everyone stay well.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, notice for public hearing pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on June 27th, 2022 at 7 PM for a notice of intent filed by Mary Pepka located at Lot 2, Walnut Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves construction of a single-family house with septic system, well, and driveway. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass, or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021, order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, general law, Chapter 38, Section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice of intent may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission, 508-476-4000, extension 205. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to continue this hearing to August 1st at 7 PM. Motion made by Art,
Second.
second by Mike. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangum, aye.
Okay. Moving on. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, legal notice for public hearing pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Mass Wetlands Protection Act. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on June 27th, 2022 at 7 PM for a notice of intent filed by Mary Pepka located at lot number 3, Walnut Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. Proposed work involves construction of a single-family house with septic system, well, and driveway. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at the Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. Website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice of intent may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission at 508-476-4000, 205. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding lot number 3, Walnut Street? Hearing seeing none, I entertain a motion to continue the hearing to August 1st at 7 PM. Motion made by Art.
Second.
Second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangum, aye.
Thank you very much. 7 PM, public hearing, notice of intent, lot number 4, Walnut Street. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on June 27th, 2022 at 7 PM for a notice of intent filed by Mary Pepka located at Lot 4, Walnut Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves construction of a single-family house with septic system, well, and driveway. Public participation will be available by attending the meeting at Town of Douglas Municipal Center located at 29 Depot Street, or pursuant to Governor Baker's June 16th, 2021 order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, general law, Chapter 30A, Section 18. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice may be examined electronically by contacting Conservation Commission, 508-476-4000, extension 205. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing? Seeing none. I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to August 1st at 7 PM.
So moved.
Motion made by Art,
Second.
second by Mike. All those in favor?
Eric Harriside.
This is stuff that came 10 minutes before the meeting for the next one, even though it's
I'm
dated
sorry, I'm in the
August
middle of a motion.
7th. Oh, sorry.
Art?
So I say yes.
Yep. Mike?
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mongemai.
Okay, thank you very much.
That was confusing.
Yeah, I know, Steve did it.
Sorry, that,
Okay, next item, public hearing continued, notice of intent, 22 Conservation Drive, new dwelling, Lackey Dam Properties. Who's presenting for this project?
Jude Garvin, OHI Engineering,
Address?
15 Beach Street, Millbury.
Okay. You want to give us an update?
Yeah, sure. Sometimes back since the April 4th meeting, there was a lot of facts that were discussed at the hearing, and we had taken some time to do quite a bit of research. I'm here tonight with Attorney Roberti, who's going to be talking about the legalities of the lot and the ownership of the lot. And I'm also here with Mitch Maslanka. He's from Goddard Consulting, and he's here to talk about the riverfront area and the wetland delineation. And also, since the last hearing, we've gone ahead based on DEP comments and the MESA letter that says there's a no take. We've gone ahead and just done a habitat evaluation study, which Mitch can talk about. As far as the engineering goes, am I allowed to share my screen, Steve?
Yeah, Cable, can you have Jude screen share?
So we also, when did you submit the revised plan to Steve?
Like, in fairness, about a half hour before the meeting.
Okay, so we're not totally prepared on, cross-checking the changes, but if you wanted to go over the changes that have been made, that might be helpful. And then the no-take is great. He just handed this to us. It was dated April 17th, but we just got it.
Well, Steve had that one. I sent him a few things before the meeting, so I just included that in there, so we had everything in one spot.
Okay.
He got that letter when it was sent to me back.
Okay, so you've had this, you've known about this since April 17th?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but might have been buried in an email, but.
Okay, yeah, because it says it was to us. It was to the Douglas Conservation Commission.
Oh, you have it. You have it now.
Okay.
I'm happy to go through with the changes for the plans tonight.
Yeah. So we don't need a, yeah.
Even if there isn't a decision, it took a lot to coordinate Attorney Roberti and Mitch to all be at the hearing due to conflicts and schedules and stuff. So I felt even if the plan got sent to you late, I can explain the plan, but I want the team to discuss the certain items that were brought up at the last meeting, and then we can have a discussion.
Okay. Let's roll.
At the last hearing, we discussed alternative analysis and ways to tighten up the site and not be so close to the maximum amount of riverfront area disturbance. So what I did based on comments through the chair was I pushed the well location and the whole entire house and all the grading, I pushed it 15 feet towards the street. So it reduced the riverfront area disturbance by 1,000 square feet, plus or minus. And the other things that I did based on discussions was I lowered the garage slab so that there isn't a 12-foot drop, more of a 10-foot drop at a 3-to-1 from the garage down to the 100-foot riverfront area. And that's shown as a hatch. And that area we're proposing to install the New England erosion control mix, which discussing with Goddard Consulting, they thought that was the best slope stabilization, and it would be able to go back to more of a naturalized condition and hold the slope. The other thing that we did was proposing for temporary disturbance where the well area is and the hay bales around the well. And there's a call out on the plan that once the well's installed and the water line's installed, that can just be left to go back there in existing conditions and not be manicured long. Those are the big major changes that we did since the last hearing based on just the engineering discussion items that we had last time. So the next thing that I think is Attorney James Rupert should speak to questions that were raised by some abutters at the last hearing as far as ownership and the court cases and what has happened in that stuff. And maybe we can clarify that for you guys. So Jim?
Sure. Hi, Jim Roberti for the applicant. I guess before I get started, were there any specific, I mean, I know this was a while back, you may not remember, but do you have any specific questions before I get started, or do you just want me to, would it be helpful to run through the title history and the permit history for you guys?
I think the neighbors were having an issue. There may have been either the summary judgment, so you can start there.
Okay, so basically, I'll just start with what I know.
Yeah.
If I'm starting to bore you, you can just tell me.
Oh.
So what I know, back in 1996, Eveningside Realty, which is the current owner of our lots, they own the whole subdivision. It was transferred to them by Tammy Renard and Susan Cote, who were related parties. So they basically started this project off in '96, and during that same year they came to conservation, Eveningside did, and got a roadway order, right? And they also got from the planning board a covenant, what they called, I guess, Preservation Park was the subdivision. So then what happened after that was almost simultaneously, they transferred out all the lots. August 14th of '96, all the lots went out to this company down in Franklin, was unrelated, Preservation Development Corp. They paid $575,000 for all the raw lots. And like I said, there was a covenant in place, and then there was a wetlands order for the subdivision in place. So then what happened 3 years later in '99, which is really important to this, our case here, is that Preservation Development, that the developer now who was building the subdivision, deeded back to Eveningside 3 lots, 10, 11, and 23. So 10 and 11 are the ones we're working on now, which have merged into a combined lot. So I think 23 is on the other side of the street. So in 1999, Preservation Development deeded over to Eveningside only those 3 lots, but Preservation kept developing on its own the subdivision. So I think it was 97, the Preservation bonded all the lots with the planning board. So all those lots were all bonded off with the planning board as of 1997. So I just, in checking the title records, it seems as you're going to ask me about the whole subdivision order of conditions. It looks like, from what I can see, is that they must have come in January, believe it or not, January 26th of 2022. They came before would be you guys, this current commission, and they got a complete certification for the subdivision in January. I'm assuming that's because they were dealing with the property on the other side of the street, or something must have come up, because it was only filed, like I said, January 26, 2022. But nevertheless, the whole subdivision order is complied with. So that takes care of the subdivision order. So as to the litigation, from what, the records are, as you know, going back to 2001, those records aren't available at the courts anymore. But I was able to look at the docket sheets, and there were two lawsuits by Eveningside against the Conservation Commission that were filed one was filed in January of '01, the other was filed in June of '01. They were both resolved in and around 2006, 2007. And that date's important because the order of conditions that was in place on this lot basically required the lots to be merged, 10 and 11. If you remember, I think they were fighting over building on both, and I think the resolution was to merge them into something now that's called 11R, and that was done title-wise in July of '06. So the order of conditions was issued for this lot by the Conservation Commission, I think in April or May of '06. And one of the conditions in that order, the current order that's now, of course, lapsed, it said prior to any commencement of any activity associated with the proposed project, an A&R plan showing the combination of 10 and 11 must be submitted to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission. The A&R must be approved by the Planning Board. So nothing really, from what I can see, has changed on this title since those cases were settled back in '06 and '07 between the town and Eveningside. The order of conditions was issued. The A&R plan was recorded, all like the '06, '07 period. And then, as the commission knows, there was a couple of extensions, one done, I think, in '09 for a period of a year to 10. And then there was another extension done in, I think, 14 for a couple of years. So clearly, as far as the title is concerned, nothing's really happened other than back in '06 and '07, 10 and 11 were merged into what's now 11R, and an order of conditions was released. So I hope that's helpful. I mean, I think the neighbors were concerned that somehow that Eveningside developed the whole subdivision. What they did is they permitted it and sold it. And all they've really been dealing with since, like, for the last 20 years is this lot 10 and 11, which is now merged as 11R. And then I think that lot 23 is across the street, but I really couldn't find any information, didn't spend a lot of time looking at 23 because it was not sort of relevant to this proposal. So that's what I have. Any questions from the commission or the neighbors, or I'd be glad to answer.
Thank you, Attorney Roberti. Did you find in your discovery how the 50 acres was never deeded to the town?
No, I did not, because I could not see on the record that there was there was no decision of the planning board ever recorded. So all that was recorded on the registry deed was the covenant, and then there was a covenant release. So
that was a no-build covenant for a specific amount of lots?
Yeah, it was like, you know how they work. You basically, if you don't bond them, you can't build until you either bond or you complete the work. And then there was somebody, it was either a tri-party agreement or a bond put up in the late 90s, 97, 98 period, and that's when all the lots were then released. So, I would assume that all the infrastructure money was put up. Doesn't say anything at all. It's silent on the issue of the land that you're talking about.
Okay, thank you. I think that the abutters had some questions on the buildability and what exactly happened in the 2006 timeframe, and the plan that was approved is a bit different than the plan that's laid out here. So we were cross-checking and double-checking on the jurisdictional areas. But I'm gonna open it up to any abutters have any questions for the applicant's attorney at this moment. Is there, Mark, is there somebody? I saw something
Some of them are
moving.
hidden. We can't see
Okay.
anybody.
I thought there was something that moved over there, or maybe somebody got off.
Well, thanks, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
You hearing me?
Yes, thank you very much for attending. I don't see any abutters or any hands raised for any questions. Board, do we have any questions for the attorney?
No, I thought we were going to have a bunch of folks on this.
Right, me too.
I don't know the history that they all seem to.
Yeah, okay. All right, no, I think we're good. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, back to the plan. So Steve, do you want to take it away?
What do you want me to take away?
Any questions that you have?
I don't, no, I mean, that's pretty much the history I knew. I knew there was an original order, they combined the lots, there was a settlement agreement. It's good that Mitch probably, DEP looked at it, Mass Wildlife looked at it again. It's kind of the same thing that probably went through 15 years ago. I think Jude's plan, maybe it's a little bit more protective.
An improvement from the previously approved plan?
Looks like it. Just my opinion that he's moved stuff farther away. And I guess, Jude, right, you've added more riverfront less riverfront disturbance overall?
That's correct, yep. And that's noted on the plans in the riverfront calculation.
All DEP comments have been addressed?
Yeah, DEP, they just mentioned about the estimated habitat rear wildlife, which we got a letter from NAGSP, and then they also reminded the commission that it's within their jurisdiction to ask for wildlife habitat. So we saw that, and instead of going back and forth, we just went ahead and performed one.
Okay, do we have the results of that?
Yes, I believe Steve gave that to you right at the beginning of this hearing. And Mitch is available again to go through that, if you would like him to go through that letter.
We have the Fishes and Wildlife letter only.
There's a simplified wildlife habitat evaluation, which is on my screen now. I mean, we can walk through it, Mitch can walk through it, or whatever you guys want to do.
Can you give us the summary of what was found?
Yep, so this is Mitch Maslenko with Goddard Consulting. So my colleague Tim, he visited the site earlier this June after we received the DEP comments. And what we do for this is we follow the DEP manual, the Mass Department of Environmental Protection Wildlife Habitat Protection Guidelines for inland wetlands. And there's a checklist called Appendix A that we do for these level of projects where it's just over 5,000 square feet of riverfront area disturbance. We'll go out, we'll do Appendix A. So Jude, could you actually scroll down to the end of the document and show them the Appendix A that we go out there and look at? Yep, perfect. So if you want, I don't think there's a need for me to read through all of them. If you guys want to just read it yourself on the screen real quick, there's several habitat features that we look for within the impact area itself. We also go beyond the impact area just to see what's out there, to see what's going to be left for wildlife habitat elsewhere on site. So when Tim went out there, he didn't see any of these habitat features listed in Appendix A, which is what he wants you to look for in the impact areas. The only notable habitat we saw was a tree that didn't meet this important habitat feature. It is a 14-inch tree diameter, shown in the picture there with some cavities. You can see little holes in there that some animals are using, but that doesn't meet the 18-inch tree diameter category that was on the Appendix A, so it doesn't trigger an Appendix B. Also, there was another checkbox that said for state-listed habitats or rare species and whatnot, that would, might make us go to an Appendix B checklist, which that's a bit more in-depth. But we got that letter from Natural Heritage saying that it's a no-take, and that serves as proof that there's no state-listed animal species using the specific impact area shown on Jude's plan. So, that's all I got for wildlife habitat. Just that tree there, and nothing else that would have triggered some sort of intervention with going to a Appendix B, which is a bit more in depth. So,
can you talk about the endangered species, Mitch?
Oh, what's that, Jim?
The invasive species that were located on site?
Sure, yeah. So also one thing we noted in the impact area itself, that's where a decent presence of invasive species are, like Oriental bittersweet and multiflora rose. Elsewhere on site, outside the impact area, there really wasn't any presence of invasive species. So this corner of the lot that we're proposing work is going to clean out some of those invasive species that are currently there and prevent them from spreading deeper into the site. So in a way, that's a good thing for vegetation diversity elsewhere on site. So yeah.
Would that impact other areas that you're bringing the invasive debris to, or do you think that it won't transport?
If you want to put a condition in the order conditions, I don't think we need to write something up, but if you just want to make a condition like you remove the invasive species by hand prior to earthwork, that way we're not mixing.
Okay.
Or that way we get them out before they start seeding into the ground when fresh soil disturbance is about to occur.
Okay, I think that's good. Board, any other questions? Thank you for doing the study, by the way.
Yeah, no problem.
Any other questions? Yeah.
I'm just a little confused. He kept saying it's lot 10 and 11 were combined to make lot 11R, but its plan says lot 13, so what?
That's the town designation for the lot. Lot 13 is the town designation on the assessors.
The assessors, not on the plan, the subdivision plan.
If you look at the plan reference that I have on there, that references the A&R lot that is actually 11R. I can definitely see that confusion.
Okay.
So is a lot 11R 22 Conservation Drive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's also number 13.
Also known as?
Number 13, known as 11R, known as 10 and 11 together.
Yeah, see those, if you look at the plan references, it combined 22 and 26 Conservation Drive to make 11R. But when the town designated their parcel numbers, they designated it as a lot 13.
And the address is definitely 22.
That's, yeah.
Okay. Lot 13, address number 22.
Correct.
Okay. Anyone else in the audience? Questions, concerns?
Susan Foley, 29 Conservation Drive.
Go ahead.
The sight line out of the driveway, has that been looked at in terms of pulling out to take a right? That's a little bit of a curve there. Just wondering if that's a concern. Not maybe to conservation, I don't know.
Jude, would you like to answer that?
The short answer is no, we haven't looked at it. It's a relatively straight shot from the right down to the culvert, and there's a subtle curve going up to the left. But there isn't a requirement through site conservation filing.
So I think that would be addressed with a driveway permit once they go to install the driveway. So the highway department will be checking that.
Okay, I have another question. The septic, what is the front of that going to look like? Is that going to be a mountain like the rest of them look like on the street, or a wall, or what?
There was a large retaining wall originally proposed for the site, and that was one of the goals, was to take that retaining wall out so there wasn't such a drop and such a subtle, such an abrupt changing grade from the septic system down to the driveway. It is going to be a mound on the southern side, to the north side. It blends in with the existing topography in this area here. And down here, there's going to be a mound here, and then it blends into the driveway, and we're using the house to kind of tie the grading back together of the septic. So we're trying to eliminate the look of the mound.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, so I think originally it looked like, maybe it wasn't this boulder, they were gonna put up some kind of a stepped wall that doesn't really fit with the theme of the preservation park.
That's been eliminated.
All right, and then my only other concern is I honestly, I can't believe someone's able to build on this lot. The neighbor 2 doors up, as Steve knows, has done a significant amount of removal of trees from his yard, which just creates more, more erosion and flow down to the river. So I just wanted to state that.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing? Seeing none, hearing none. Board, are we prepared to close this public hearing? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Art,
Second.
second by Mike. All those in favor?
Eric Garrison.
Mark Mamedy, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to issue the order with the condition that the invasives on site will be removed by hand. And any other conditions? They're the only one? No?
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes?
You have to clean up the existing order of conditions, because that's still technically hanging out. So if you want to make that as part of it, or I can send Steve the documentation tomorrow.
With an as-built? Oh, no. No work has been completed?
Right, yeah.
What's the old number?
Geez, you have.
Hold on. I think I have it here someplace. Hold on. Is it 1430703? Is that it?
Probably 0703?
Yeah. 1430703.
Okay. Board, do we want to make a motion to issue that certificate of compliance due to no activity before we issue the new one?
That's what we usually do.
Yeah, so I'll entertain a motion to issue the certificate.
So moved.
Motion made by Mark,
The number again?
143-0703. Motion made by Mark,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Garrison.
Mark Mamedy, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Okay. Jude, please get Steve the paperwork so that we can close that out. And then I have a motion on the table to issue the order of conditions with our standard conditions as well as the special of hand removal of the invasive oriental bittersweet and multiform rose.
So this is for 143-1045.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we at? I'll move.
Motion made by Art,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Garrison.
Mark Mamedy, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem, aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a
Good to
good
see you
night.
again.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. We're gonna skip 18. I'm gonna need a chair to take over after I leave. Number 19, no new information has been submitted. Anyone here for a public hearing, continued notice of intent, Whiten Reservoir Dam operation? Seeing none. Steve is going to check to see if that work that we had authorized. Yeah, has been completed. So I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for
August?
Yeah, for August 1st at 7 PM.
So moved.
Motion made by Art,
Second.
second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mongemi.
Okay, thank you. And then, public hearing, continued notice of intent, 0 Mumford Road, 5 Forest Street, definitive subdivision plan, Sutton Douglas Development LLC. Planning board, the peer review letter had been submitted, and we have that in our packet. Who's presenting on behalf of, we've got the dream team up there? You're muted. You're still muted. Okay, so we have in our packet the peer review from Graves. And I believe all the comments have been acknowledged on this list. I'll just ask if
Yes.
you're good.
Oh, hi, everyone. Thank you. Appreciate everyone's time. Apologies for not being there in person. I am joined by Wayne Bellick at Land Design Collaborative. Thank you so much for having us.
Okay, do you want to bring us up to speed on anything that resulted from the site walk, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, on our site walk, it was, as always, very fruitful. We were able to walk through, understand the areas of impact, and we have submitted a redlined version of the plans, specifically focusing on the ends of both cul-de-sacs. It was requested by the commission that we specifically, hold on one moment. I'm going to just share my screen if that's all right. Steve, can I share the screen?
Hey, Cable, can you allow them?
One moment. Good.
Right. Hi, everyone. Again, sorry, Wayne Bellick.
Land Design Collaborative. So in addition to, the commission, in meeting with the commission that day, they expressed concerns about the ends of the cul-de-sac. So we'll first start with the plunge pools. So these plunge pools were properly sized, and commission members, a couple of commission members, had asked if we could expand the footprint of the plunge pools. So we had, it was those plunge pools, Madam Chair, located at the end of Road A and Road B, Road C. The concern that they had was that, unlike the other stormwater that was being collected and routed through stormwater management facilities, the concern was the velocities coming into those plunge pools, and they wanted an extra level of comfort and asked if we could expand them. They asked if we could try to do it 2 to 3 times, subject to whether or not area was available. And as you can see, Ken, if you zoom in on this puppy. Oh, nice.
Please mute if you're not speaking right now. Thank you.
So I want to go to the end of Road A. So we are zoomed in. You just went with there, Road B, or hit the C area. If you want to zoom into that area to the plunge pool, Tim. Madam Chair, as you can see, this is the area that we were able to expand it a little bit. What you see in the screen, line weight, is the original location. Everything in red is what we've expanded to, and it's still located beyond the 25-foot no disturb. Tim, if you could zoom to the end of Road A now. So now we'll head over to Road A. We're able to hear now a little bit more because we did have the room to do that right there, Tim. Thank you. So as you can see, we've got like twice the size out of that. And again, that is located beyond the 25-foot no disturb. In addition to that, we have on the basins, on the down gradient side of all the basins, the commission had asked if we could provide for a conservation food mix in lieu of loaming and seeding it with grass seed. So we're looking to loam and seed that with a conservation seed mix for wildlife habitat values. So then the other thing that they were looking for on these sheets, I believe that was it. And I want to get to that. I want to get to the last sheet. All right, so this particular sheet here, the other question that was raised, which we thought was a very good, these were very good comments by the commission, not that the others weren't, but we liked the dialogue we had on the commissions, with the commission, and fully appreciated where they were coming from. So as part of this design, as we've said all along, what we're looking to do is in each phase, the very first thing after the tree clearing and they rub, they're going to be installing the stormwater basins so that they can account for or attenuate the differences in the hydrology that will occur once those changes are made. The outlet device for that will be installed in each basin and each phase. And then what we're going to have is a standpipe on the inlet side that will be wrapped in a Marathi fabric and crushed stone to filter any stormwater that gets into this basin. Now, these basins are going to act as sediment basins, temporary sediment basins during construction. In addition to this, we are proposing temporary sediment basins in other areas of the site. One of the areas that the commission had concern with, if I can get there, is at the end of, so for instance, at the end of Road A, which you see here on the screen. What you see in red, Madam Chair, is at the end of that cul-de-sac, we included a fairly large sediment basin. And the concern of the commission members was that there really wasn't a belt and suspenders approach in letting the stormwater basically run down the edge of the roadways in our diversion channels into the basins down below. So they wanted this forebay or the sediment basin in the cul-de-sac on each cul-de-sac. So what we've done is we've included that, and then to the down gradient side of that to the right, you'll also see that we've left the diversion channels in those areas to pick up anything that may, for some reason, if it breaches that berm, that would make its way into that diversion channel and into that stormwater sediment basin down gradient of that. So with the belts and suspenders that will be in place as part of the monitoring program, because we are going to have a stormwater pollution prevention plan on site in the trailer at all times with inspection reports, they will be monitoring that, looking at the areas in advance of any rain events greater than, I believe, a quarter of an inch, and then following them. If they find that measures need to be further employed, they will be doing that. One of the comments that was raised was to employ wood chips for stump grindings, which we included in this this plan before we head up to that. But in the plan, in the key that we have in here, we also discuss including, I highlighted that in red up there, if you wouldn't mind. So again, we had in there wood chips. What that will be is wood chips and stump grinding. So we'll use those. We're going to be generating those on site, and we would use those to stabilize any slopes out there during construction. In addition to this, we are looking at we are looking at, Tim, how do I get them on here? Yeah, get me to one of the diversion channels off the side of the road.
Do.
So as you can see, yep, pan over to here. There you go. Thank you.
Only one person can drive.
Sorry, folks. So as you can see, what we've done is we've broken this up and at the request of the commission, which we talked about it, we thought it was a great suggestion, rather than have it all come down to that one location, break it up and have it discharge onto the lots as well. So that would be, those would be some of the measures that we'll look to employ on site. Madam Chair, those are the questions that the commission raised, which we feel that these red line documents would adequately address. Unfortunately, we are currently awaiting to go on the Sutton Planning Board's agenda to go through the decision and the conditions of approval. So that's why we're here. So at some point, one of us is going to leave the room to deal with Sutton while the other one stays in here. And I think I'm going to stay here, provided that we defer to Steve or somebody else to, at that point, take over the screen if we need to. Clearly, I can't promise that.
Okay.
So what we'd like to do is incorporate, I was going to run the documents down there tonight. I have them in my truck, and we were hoping to be out of here by now. So I do have them. We would ask that, yes, so we sent them electronically to you folks. So we would ask that they be incorporated into the record.
Which documents are you talking about?
These are the red line documents.
Red lines we just presented.
But your final revised plan is not going to have red lines, correct?
That's correct. Well, the final revised plans, that's correct. That's correct.
And do you
so
have,
we're looking.
You're going to
I'm sorry?
supply. You're going to supply Steve with the date, the final plan date.
Yep.
We're also going to add as part of our conditions, which I saw some revisions going back and forth, the clause that you've outlined in your email from Saturday, correct?
If you could refresh my memory.
So the treated with wood chips in flatter areas and riprap in steeper areas, and these
Yes.
channels can be further addressed. So you're saying
Yes.
commission would like to add this information. I think we want to add the information to its conditions.
That's correct.
And you've already shown that on the plans. It's
That's
reflected
correct.
in the plans, because people look at the plans a lot more. Mark, most of this was your concerns from the site walk. Did you read through that and you're in agreement on the remedies? So the O&M plan, so you've revised the O&M plan?
The O&M plan in terms of, so the O&M plan has been addressed with during construction, post-construction. So all of that has already been incorporated in that, including the wood chips. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
So you've already, okay. So board, any questions? Mike?
We do have the consultant here for the town.
Okay. Yes, I see that. Thank you. Mark?
What is the red line on the plan? Is that a silt fence or just an erosion control barrier line? Is that what that designates?
Tim, could you go back to the red line?
Absolutely.
So they're the proposed changes. So some of them were the expansion of the riprap, the basins.
Yeah,
Some of
I'm
it
talking-
was-
yeah, about
oh, that one
that
specifically?
area there. Like, I can understand.
Yeah, the question that Mark asked about the line. Mark, are you looking at?
I'm looking at the cul-de-sac in particular.
Yep. So the cul-de-sac, if you can zoom in, Tim. So what you see is that the kidney-shaped thing right there, that is the sediment basin. The lines leading to that, the dashed lines leading to that, would be the diversion swales that we would pick up, where you can see over by the fueling area. It will be broken up, and some of it will discharge out of the buffer zone onto lot 24, and likewise onto lot 19. It's broken up on the south side of the road. And then the diversion channel again would pick up and then discharge into the kidney-shaped sediment basin down below. To the right of that We have additional diversion channels so that in the event something crazy happens and it overflows, again, it will be monitored prior to and after rainstorms. And so that we have additional belt and suspenders in there. So those represent the sediment basins and the diversion channels.
So those will be labeled.
So those are in the key.
Okay.
I couldn't tell that those were detention basins from the drawing or from the key. So I think that needs to be better defined on your
So if I put it through, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Those are, with all due respect, those are not detention basins, those are temporary sediment basins.
Okay.
During construction. Those will disappear once the road starts to come in.
Yeah.
That's just a temporary condition. Once we get the roadway infrastructure, the drainage structures in, and we have the inlet sediment traps in there, and hay bales, straw bales down the stake down on the down gradient side of it to capture that runoff, and we can get that working effectively, then that will be flowing through the stormwater basin, which is another reason that we want to get these stormwater basins in early during the process, not only to address the change in hydrology, but in the end, by the time we connect all the drainage parts, this whole thing is stabilized. We're not going to have erosion through the basin itself.
Okay, and Jeff, do you have any comments or confirmations on this?
Thank you. For the record, this is Jeff Walsh of Graves Engineering consultant to the Douglas Conservation Commission, Douglas Planning Board, and Sutton Planning Board on this project. To confirm, yes, I did issue a follow-up review letter to Douglas on June 22nd. The issues raised in our first letter had been adequately addressed. There were a couple little clean up the plan drafting issues, but the important things specifically our peer review comment pertaining to stormwater management and so forth had been addressed. Excuse me. I did come prepared if there are questions or further discussion. I did receive a number of emails from both Wayne Bellick and Steven Zisk, and I've gone through those just to be able to be prepared to discuss with the commission any questions it may have. And if you don't need me to talk, that's fine with me too.
Thank you.
But, you're welcome. But nevertheless, stormwater management is in order. The comments from DEP, I feel, have been addressed. Our previous comments have been addressed, and I have no issues with the, no major issues whatsoever. Just, again, a couple small drafting issues. But I'm good with the plans and the stormwater report and stormwater management. I will say, with respect to handling stormwater, especially early in constructing a project, big tracts of land on the side of the hill with fine-grained soils I get worried about. This is a coarser soil. It's not a sand and gravel deposit, but it's anywhere from sandy loam to loamy sand. Pervious, but not as pervious as a sand deposit, a gravel deposit. So I'm concerned to some extent about erosion and the separating, if you will, the stormwater and try not to concentrating it is very good practice. Solar projects are always a concern of mine because they strip out acres of land and they want to use perimeter controls by themselves. That just doesn't work. I would strongly recommend wherever possible use stump grindings rather than wood chips. Stump grindings are long and shredded, whereas the wood chips are more wafer-like. And the wood chips can work, but yet when the water velocities get a little higher, the wafer shape to them, it's like a sail, if you will, puts them in suspension, whereas that doesn't happen as much with stump grindings. And I've seen some great projects where even though there's perimeter erosion controls used, contractor, if they have a stump grinder handling the stumps on site, they might have a 1.5 to 3 feet high, up gradient of that. So 2 lines of defense is a lot better than 1 line of defense.
Yep, agreed.
And I'll leave it there, Madam Chairman, unless there are any specific questions.
Thank you very much. So you'll be willing to switch out the wood chips in the flatter areas for those diversion channels to the wood, to the stump grindings?
Absolutely, Madam Chair.
Okay. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing? Please raise your hand. Or unmute.
Susan Foley, on Conservation Drive.
Hi.
I'd like to know why you referred to the engineering team as the dream team. We feel the town is not advocating for us residents.
It was, I was waiting for them to unmute. Do you have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing?
That's just my concern, and I'm representing all the neighbors, that we just feel like the town dropped the ball, as you know, and that the building is going to go ahead, and good luck to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or concerns? I'm seeing none. Board? Questions? Ready to close the hearing? Yes, yes. I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Motion made by Mike.
Second.
Second by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangum, aye.
Okay. Entertain a motion to issue the order of conditions.
So moved.
Motion made by Mark.
Second.
Second by Mike. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mangum, aye.
Tracy Sharkey, aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
members of
Thank
the
you,
commission. We appreciate it. We know it's a long project. We are going to do our very darndest to make sure we don't have to come before you for an infraction.
Great.
I assure you of that.
Sounds good.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, folks.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yes, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome. Welcome, guys.
Okay. Next hearing, I'm just going to open as a matter of necessity. I'm not going to be able to vote, so we'll have to continue when we have another member here. So 7 p.m., public hearing, continued notice of intent, 84 Webster Street, new single-family dwelling. The revised plan has been submitted. Steve, do you want to pull it up on the screen?
Yep. 1 second.
I give up. Where is it? Terry Street?
Number 18.
Last man standing again. I have a couple large-scale plans here. You folks will take a look at it.
Thank you.
And then Steve has these too. He can get this up on the screen if he likes. There you go. And you can share that with your colleague. And I also have 2 copies of the narrative I put together. What I did was, hang on a second. Here's a copy of the narrative here. Since the last time we met, I was able to move the house over easterly to minimize that impact into that 50-foot buffer. And also, I kind of steepened the grading up on the easterly side a little bit too, to kind of cut down on the square footage of impact, disturbance. And on the right side of the property, you'll notice as you come in the driveway, on the right side of the driveway, I graded a swale in there with some riprap check dams. I have a detail for that, so that the pavement will be graded so that it'll go over to the right and into that swale, go through the check dams, That'll help with some filtration and so forth. And then it'll go, it'll get a little bit more concentrated as it goes downhill and then into the back where the wetland is now. The DEP number is 1431048. That was issued after that meeting. I have that on the plan next to the wetland edge, within that box with the biologist. And then they had one comment about the plantings that I had in the back, and what I did is I put those plantings along the limit of disturbance, kind of demarcate that, and then any area in between there and the wetland that's been cleared or is brush or whatever, it'll kind of grow back in again, and they'll meet up, so that will help protect that wetland from more sediments and so forth, and protect it from being disturbed further in the future. But basically, that's pretty much what I have there. I did have a high point at the top of the driveway where it's mounted, so that the water coming down the roadway doesn't run down the driveway, and that'll continue past. But in this case here, that roadway pitches from the development side of the road to the north side of the road. There's some curves in there and a reverse curve and so forth, so the cross slope across the pavement changes. But for the most part, right in that area there, it pitches across, it pitches northerly away from our site. So it won't be too bad of a problem with runoff coming down that driveway from the highway. After we have the septic system approved, contingent on getting an approval from you folks here, and then from there we have to go to get a permit from Mass DOT to open up that guardrail and cut a driveway in there. But other than that, that's pretty much it as far as changes that I made. And to the plans, everything else stayed intact. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, I appreciate you sliding the house over towards to the west, so that looks better. I like the swale at the side of the driveway with the check dams. That looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any other questions.
Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this hearing? None. I'll entertain a motion to continue the hearing to July 18th at 7 PM.
So moved.
Motion made by Mike,
Second.
seconded by Eric. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Mungem,
Okay. Tracy Sharkey, aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a bunch of stuff to sign. Steve, anything else?
I'm good.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. This is Mitch Maslenka. Mind if I chime in for 1 second?
Sure.
So I have a client, Denise Davis, at 161 Maple Street, and I just wanted to stick around and see if you guys are willing to discuss one small item, see if I can get a minor plan change tonight, if you guys mind like sharing my screen real quick.
Sure.
Awesome, I appreciate that.
We got all night.
We can start signing stuff.
It says I'm not allowed to share the screen here.
You should be good now.
Are you all done with me?
Yeah. Your item, we can.
Yep, it looks like it's working.
If we continue to do.
It shouldn't be, as far as getting a permit from the state, it should be.
Okay, can you guys see this plan right here?
Approve it.
Yes.
With,
Excellent. Okay, so a few months back, October 2021, we had a buffer zone mitigation area that we got approved right here for the clearing that happened over here at 161 Maple Street. You remember there was a big area cleared. She had a trail going through. You guys allowed her to keep the trail, let this whole area she cleared grow back. And then for mitigation for the trail, we proposed and got approved this mitigation area. And the homeowner is concerned about grades, and she thinks she's gonna have to have a big retaining wall somewhere over here if she's gonna have that restoration area there. So she was gonna ask if we can just shift it over like this, shift it 90 degrees. So a portion of it is gonna remain in the same place, and then the rest of it's just gonna abut the previous, previous approved limit of work right here. So, you know, there's that, and then I can show you two pictures of the two areas that we're shifting from and to.
So it's equal swapping of square footage?
Yeah. Yep, same square footage, same planting plan, just different areas. Here, give me 1 second.
And that was authorized to remain disturbed in the restoration approval? The area that you're now restoring?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was still just within the limit of work from the house plan approval. Just give me 1 second, I'll get those pictures up. So this grass patch here is where the previously approved restoration area is going to go. So, you know, they hadn't disturbed it yet, being so far out of their project, still working on the house and whatnot. So that's just going to be replanted with those plantings that we had proposed in the mitigation plan, but she's afraid she's going to need to build a big retaining wall right in front of it in order for the grades to play out well. So instead, she's going to ask that we move it to this just 90 degrees, just shift it over here into this area. But it's also still grass, so just putting in some plantings.
And how many square feet is it?
Let me go back to that plan. It is 1,340 square feet.
Okay. Board, any issue with relocating the mitigation area?
It looked like the proposed new mitigation area is a little bit higher than the current grade of the existing proposed mitigation area. So will that be lowered to make it?
It will not be lowered because this was just a mitigation area. It wasn't a buffer zone mitigation area, I should clarify. It wasn't a wetland, so we don't have to worry as much about
Was it replication?
Replicating soil composition and elevations. It's more just vegetative cover.
And maintaining that to be undisturbed.
Yes, yes, of course.
So, yeah, so there's no match on the BVW that's there. It's that they went beyond the allowed clearing.
So what's the plant material that's being put into these areas of mitigation? Do you have like a schedule of plants?
Yep. It was whatever was previously approved.
Okay.
All right. I could try and go back and find out.
You don't have to. I just didn't. I wanted to make sure that it was planted. It wasn't just let go from what it is now and allowed to just grow up. I think it should be planted. So.
Oh yeah, they're still planning to put the plants in. Yep.
Right, yeah, so he's saying not naturally revegetate in that area, actually follow what was planned for the restoration.
Correct.
Because it looks like it's just revegetating on its own.
Right. And it will, but at least give it a start with the plants, so.
Yeah, I have no issue with swapping of the areas. We don't want a retaining wall, that's for sure.
Okay.
So as a
Great.
consensus, I would say we have no issues with that.
I don't have an issue with it.
Okay. Good, Steve?
Okay.
Could you email that plan to Steve just for his records?
Yep, I sent it to Steve, and then I just lost touch with the client about getting on the agenda, so I just figured I'd hop on and ask. And then she did have one other question not related to this restoration area.
Okay.
There's another restoration area on the other side of the house, and there's some dead trees that she's concerned about. And she's wondering if there's, if you guys are willing to permit removal of the trees, or if there's any way she can just make it safer for her, if you guys are willing to let her, cut the trees to a certain height or something. I'll try and pull up some pictures of those.
Now you're pushing it.
Yeah, you're pushing it.
I know, right?
Actually, my email was come July 18th.
So is there an imminent danger of a dead tree falling on a structure or a person?
So she had a proposed barn approved, and she's afraid that the barn, once it's constructed, that if the houses were to fall over, that there's a chance that they could.
If you flag that, I'll go out and take some videos, and we'll have to bring it up at the next meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty hard if there's a barn that's approved, I don't see how the trees would still be remaining anywhere close to the barn.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, let me just see if I can get the picture, and I'll show you what for Steve, and then
It should be an official agenda item, start making plan changes and stuff.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I mean, if the tree falls, it falls because it's dead. So, why don't you flag the trees that she'd like to be removed? Steve will go out, let him know when they're marked.
Sure. All right. Yeah, that works.
And then,
Appreciate that.
Steve, if we could put them on the agenda for dead tree removal as discussion item.
And that's going to be July what?
18th.
Date?
Send me an email, and then, remind me to put it on the agenda, and then we'll put it on the discussion officially.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, everyone. Thank you for spending a little extra time tonight on me.
Okay, you're welcome. Good night.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay, I just had one quick question.
Yep.
I was trying to get that in before. So we're all set with this, with the approval?
You continue to July 18th.
Okay, why am I
I'm not
continuing?
voting. I can't vote. I haven't participated in the hearings either.
So,
You don't have enough votes. We only have 3 votes.
so I don't have enough people voting on it?
Yeah.
We don't have a quorum?
Yeah, we don't have a full board vote for a vote. That's why I said I'll open it as a necessity. But we lost Art, and Katie Grace is gone, and we only have 6 members anyway.
All right, I mean, I don't mean to be upset about this, but I mean,
Yeah.
Of course, this is running, as late as it is.
Yeah.
And if I knew that this was going to be the case 2 hours ago, you know what I mean, I would have said, continue it, or I would have sent a letter to you, continue it till
Yeah.
then, instead of sitting here waiting for, you
Yeah,
know.
I understand. I didn't realize Art had to leave, so that's
Well,
fine.
he left the first meeting exactly the same time.
I don't know.
You know, so,
We've continued the hearing to July 18th.
And that's at 7 o'clock again, huh?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, people.
You're welcome.
You take care.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made
Second.
by Mark, seconded by Mike. All those in favor?
Eric Harris, aye.
Mike Greco, aye.
Mark Bonjamai.
Great. We're off.